Chapter 710. Lu Wenshan's teeth were chattering, making it hard to hear what he was saying. Tian Fei listened for a long time, but he still couldn't make out what he was saying. However, he came to the conclusion that Lu Wenshan was an extraordinary person a long time ago. This was enough for him to know. This small white deer manor was really full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. At night, Tai Fai returned to White Deer Manor with a murderous aura. He mainly came to report today's matter to Li Zongjiu. After a busy afternoon, he finally figured out the whole thing after a round of torture. It turned out that it was an elder of the Song family who was behind this. This elder wanted to trip up Song Jiayu, so he started with Song Jiayu's assistant, Xiao Zhao. In the end, he kicked an iron plate, Li Zongjiu. This time, he was directly wiped out. Now, this elder was probably running away in the middle of the night. Li Zongjiu's actions surprised Song Jiayu. In the past, when Li Zongjiu had just risen, he was just a weak little guy. However, now, he only needed to move his fingers to force an elder of the Song family to leave. If this elder had stayed, he probably wouldn't have had a good ending. This was extremely surprising. Song Jiayu was also glad that she had a good relationship with Li Zongjiu during this period of time. Well done. Li Zongjiu nodded. He knew Tai Fai's ability to handle affairs. If not, Li Zongjiu wouldn't have been able to lead Tai Fai until now. The ability to do things was one thing, and the ability to cultivate was another. No matter which of the two abilities you have, it will be very useful. No matter where you go, you will be able to get along very well. By the way, young master, there's a rumor in the underworld tonight, Tai Fai said in a deep voice. When he received this news, even Tai Fai himself was a little surprised. After all, it was just a rumor, and there was very little that could be verified. Although it hadn't been verified yet, it was still a matter of great importance. Tai Fai couldn't help but mention this to Li Zongjiu. What? I just received the news tonight. There's a must-kill order from the Jianghu. The Xianyuan sect from the Tianyuan state. The Xianyuan sect was located in the Tianyuan state. The sect's kill order. Once such an order was issued, it would definitely not rest until one of them was dead. Moreover, it was usually only used in extremely troublesome situations in order to intimidate the enemy. At the same time, it was equivalent to a bounty order. If anyone in the Jianghu killed this person, they could use this person's head to claim a huge reward from the Xianyuan sect. Therefore, once someone bore the sect's must-kill order, they would usually not be able to survive. How could one person go against the entire sect? In the end, they would usually die a very tragic death. This was the number one sect in the Tianyuan state, the Xianyuan sect. Oh. The Xianyuan sect's must-kill order. Li Zongjiu laughed disdainfully when he heard this. These people are really taking it seriously. I have so many things that I haven't done yet. Could it be that these bullshits want to shit on my head? After hearing this, Li Zongjiu was also quite angry. It seemed that he was still too merciful. At the Mirror Moon Villa, he shouldn't have let these people leave the mountain alive. They really thought that they were so powerful. Young master, the Xianyuan sect has issued a must-kill order. The first step is to stop them. Otherwise, they will first rush towards your family. Tian Fei came in front of Li Zongjiu and said. Family. Li Zongjiu had been fighting alone outside for the sake of providing a good place for his family in the faraway Luoxia city to recuperate. However, these people from the Xianyuan sect actually dared to take the initiative to target his family. Without a doubt, this had directly touched Li Zongjiu's bottom line. I think these people are deliberately courting death. Li Zongjiu's eyes were filled with a terrifying light. Find the people from the Xianyuan sect in the city for me. Li Zongjiu ordered. Given Tai Fai's familiarity with Li Zongjiu, he knew without hesitation that something big was going to happen. Although Li Zongjiu was very busy, he would always write a letter to his family and send it back to Luoxia City. These things were handled by Tai Fai. Therefore, Taifai also knew how much Li Zongjie cared about his family. Now, a group of people had jumped out and wanted to deal with Li Zongjie's family. Yes, young master. Li Zongjie's eyes flickered with a cold light. What's wrong, kid? You're in trouble already. If you want me to take action, you have to make an appointment in advance. Otherwise, I'm very busy. Nangong Wuji said with a faint smile. Can you destroy the Xianyuan sect? Li Zongjie looked at Nangong Wuji with disdain in his eyes. Destroy the Xianyuan sect? What's going on? Why are you going against the Xianyuan sect? Nangong Wuji opened his eyes wide and looked at Li Zongjie in disbelief. You're really good at stirring up trouble. In the blink of an eye, you've provoked the Xianyuan sect. Although he had been living in seclusion in Heavenly Star Medicine Manor for many years, he was not dead. He was still aware of the happenings in the underworld. As the number one sect in Tianyuan province, the Xianyuan sect's strength was obvious. It was easy for them to mobilize several big families. It might seem ordinary, but once they gathered together, their power would be quite terrifying. The Xianyuan sect is provoking me, Li Zongjie said. It seemed like he would not be able to have a good rest tonight. Hee, I don't have much to do with the Mystic Yuan sect, but I have a friend who has a very discordant relationship with the Mystic Yuan sect. Wait a moment, I'll contact him for you. I didn't expect that I would encounter such a lively matter as soon as I recovered my strength. Nangong Wuji was obviously excited. Li Zongjie glanced at the old man. It seemed that this old man was the one who really liked to stir up trouble. Then when are you going to fix my courtyard? This is a small matter. I'll take care of it in a minute. Nangong Wuji's figure disappeared into the night sky as soon as he finished speaking. Tian Fei, who was standing at the side, could not wait any longer. Young master, according to the procedure of the sect's kill order, we have to prove that the order is effective. As long as I'm alive, they won't be able to carry out the order. Tian Fei suddenly said. Li Zongjie looked at Tian Fei. Within 2 days, the sect will send a supervising elder to verify the content. Once it's verified, the kill order will be fully activated. At that time, I only need to show up to prove that the order is invalid. Because of the content of the kill order from before, it was obvious that it was based on Tian Fei's death. If Tian Fei had not been killed by Li Zongjie, the kill order would not have existed. So what if it's valid? So what if it's invalid? I, Li Zongjie, don't need to wait to kill. Li Zongjie said proudly. Chapter 711. Since he had already planned to mess with Li Zongjie's family, how could he continue to be courteous with him? What nonsense was this about whether it was effective or not? Li Zongjie only needed to know where these people were and kill them directly. As for the others, he would kill them one by one. If 10 came, he would kill 10. If they were too slow and Li Zongjie wasn't satisfied, Li Zongjie wouldn't mind bringing people to their sections. He would kill them until their sects were disbanded. These people really wanted to go to heaven. How dare they clamor at Li Zongjie? Tian Fei, on the other hand, was shocked by Li Zongjie's attitude. What kind of thinking was this? Could it be that the entire Xianyuan sect was nothing in Li Zongjie's eyes? One should know that there were at least 10 primitive emperors in the Xianyuan sect. Excluding those who had been guarding the sect for a long time, there were more than 10 primitive emperors who could move freely. Even in the Sacred Flame Royal City, there might not be many forces that could resist the arrival of 10 primitive emperors. If young lord has already decided, please leave Gong Chenghe's life to me. Tian Fei said coldly. Tian Fei would definitely make these people kneel and tremble at his feet after seeing the arrogance in their eyes that day. He would definitely make Gong Chenghe pay 100-fold for breaking his finger. Up to you. Taifai's efficiency was good, but when the news was brought back, it brought a big problem. There was someone else who was secretly meddling in this matter. The 9th prince. Let's go. Let's deal with the 9th prince of the Xianyuan sect first. We'll settle the score with him later. Li Zongjiu said. Taifai brought Li Zongjiu to the Four Seas Inn. At the same time, Li Zongjiu mobilized his mental strength and summoned the Howling Moon Wolf King. Dou Ling rode on the back of the Howling Moon Wolf King and shuttled through the eaves. What's going on? I was just about to win. Recently, Dou Linger had become addicted to playing Sparrow. She had just gotten a good hand of cards and was about to win when she discovered that the Howling Moon Wolf King seemed to have received a message and was rushing over. Dou Linger naturally stopped what she was doing. It was obvious that she had something important to do. Go kill a few people. Li Zongjiu said as he sat in the carriage and sped forward. The streets at night seemed particularly empty, mainly because it was getting late. Kill. As long as there is no blood. Dou Ling, The one driving the carriage was Tian Fei. Tai Feihe and the others didn't follow. After all, they weren't strong enough. Even if they came, they would only be delivering their heads. When Tian Fei first saw this strong and tall wolf appear beside him, he almost jumped in fright. It was not because of the wolf's size. After all, he had seen many Yuan beasts. It was because of the fierce aura of the Howling Moon Wolf King. After getting closer, the terrifying aura of the wolf was enough to intimidate Tian Fei. Coupled with the ferocious gaze that was directed at him, Tian Fei felt a sense of deterrence. Over the past few months, the Howling Moon Wolf King's meals were very good. Other than the elixirs refined by Lu Wenshan, Dou Ling would also frequently reward the Howling Moon Wolf King with a few elixirs. This allowed the Howling Moon Wolf King to enjoy what was called a good life. Its strength had also improved by leaps and bounds. In a short span of 3 months, the Howling Moon Wolf King's strength had reached the middle of the 5th rank after eating and drinking the best food. It was equivalent to a grade 5 Yuan monarch. Its sharp claws had not seen blood for a long time, so it naturally wanted to enjoy death. Besides the Howling Moon Wolf King, Tian Fei also saw a young lady sitting on its back. This young lady was like a fairy. This was Tian Fei's first impression of her. He was even a little dazed. However, in Tian Fei's mind, he quickly recalled what Lu Wenshan had said to Tian Fei. He had to pay attention to a little girl. Although she looked gentle and pleasant, she was actually quite terrifying. Was it this fairy-like little girl before him? Tian Fei started to doubt Lu Wenshan's motives. She was obviously an adorable little girl. How could he go around slandering her? This was really too much. Tian Fei would never believe Lu Wenshan's nonsense. He must be trying to deceive him. Go! Tian Fei was even more smug now that there was a beauty beside him. Yinghu was also in the carriage. Now that he had broken through to the Yuan monarch realm, he would be of some use in these battles. At this moment, in the Four Seas Inn, the 9th prince and the mystic Yuan sect had already reached an agreement. In order to better deal with Li Zongjiu, the 9th prince would even provide protection for these people. In order to succeed, I will do whatever it takes. The 9th prince's eyes flashed coldly. In Gong Changhe's room, Han Shuang and Han Shua's acupoints had been sealed and they had been drugged. This caused the twin sisters, Han Shuang and Han Shua, to lie on the bed, unable to move. Their eyes flickered with the light of pain. The two of them had been sent to serve the 9th prince as his maids. They had only been groomed by Zishuan court. During this period of time, the 9th prince had already known the true identity of the two sisters. However, in order to make use of Zishuan court, he had deliberately kept the two sisters by his side. Now that he felt that Zishuan court was not very useful, he might as well give the two sisters to Gong Changhe. This was because the 9th prince's own ability was already at its limit. Therefore, there was a price to pay for success. Such a painful price had already been paid. How could the 9th prince not continue and succeed? When Gong Changhe returned to his room and saw the two sisters lying weakly on his bed, the corners of his mouth suddenly curled into a sinister smile. So what if you are a prince of the Shengyan dynasty? If I, Gong Changhe, like you, all I have to do is hook my finger and you will automatically send your maids to my door. At this moment, Gong Changhe was very pleased with himself. Although he didn't say it explicitly, his hint was very accurate. It seemed that this Prince Xian Ming was a smart person. After he sent the person up, Lin Mengyao was stunned. This caused Gong Changhe to feel extremely satisfied. Don't worry, my ladies. You will feel very happy during this process. Gong Changhe rubbed his hands and walked towards the two sisters step by step. The two sisters gritted their teeth, but there was nothing they could do. At this moment, they could not move at all. They could only shed tears of humiliation. Just as Gong Changhe's demonic hands were about to reach the two sisters, a gust of cold wind blew by and blew open the window beside the bed. When Gong Changhe saw this, he immediately stopped what he was doing. Another pervert. A delicate shout sounded. It could be said that Dou Ling was extremely unhappy when she saw this scene. These men were simply carved from the same mold. They all looked like the same damn men. Gong Changhe was extremely surprised when a figure suddenly appeared outside the window. Who is it? Gong Changhe immediately let out a loud roar. Damn you! As soon as he finished speaking, the Howling Moon Wolf King smashed the window in front of him with its paw and its huge body immediately rushed in. On the other hand, Gong Changhe's reaction was relatively fast. He immediately retreated, but the Howling Moon Wolf King's speed was even faster. After it pounced on Gong Changhe, its sharp claws left a sharp gash on his shoulder. Gong Changhe immediately felt the pain and slapped the Howling Moon Wolf King with his palm. He wanted to send the Howling Moon Wolf King flying, but Gong Changhe felt a strong rebounding force. His entire palm was shaken to the point of pain. Hiss! Gong Changhe sucked in a breath of cold air. While he was looking, the Howling Moon Wolf King had already swung its tail. Bang! The Howling Moon Wolf King's body instantly fell to the ground. Awoo! Just as the Howling Moon Wolf King was about to roar, Dou Ling immediately gestured for the Howling Moon Wolf King to be quiet. If it was too noisy, it would disturb the others' sleep. This was impolite behavior. Damn it, who are you people? Chapter 712. After being knocked down by Dou Ling, Gong Changhe was furious. Gong Changhe's face was also filled with displeasure and anger. There was actually someone who dared to attack him, the dignified Gong Changhe. He was the young master of the mystic Yuan sect. Did they think he was just a nobody? Gong Changhe immediately took out a cyan steel longsword. Most importantly, he turned around and fled. After all, the strength of the man and the wolf was not ordinary. If he fought with them forcefully, he would definitely be affected. He might even be at a disadvantage. Anyway, there were so many people in the sect, and Elder Xiao Yuan was also here. Naturally, there was nothing to be afraid of. However, it was not so easy for Gong Changhe to escape. The Howling Moon Wolf King instantly blocked Gong Changhe's escape route. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, revealing its sharpness. No matter how Gong Changhe's cyan steel longsword pierced its body, it did not budge at all. Clang! Gently, it brought up a trail of fire. Even with my metal attribute sword energy, I can't hurt this wolf. Dou Ling unsealed the acupuncture points of Han Shuang and Han Shue's children. At the same time, she poured a stream of elemental energy into them to help them dissolve the poison in their bodies. You even drugged them. You're really shameless. Dou Ling looked at Gong Changhe as if she was looking at the world's worst scum. She could not wait to smash him into pieces. Thank you, heroine, for saving our lives. The two women were naturally grateful to Dou Ling for saving their lives. It was all thanks to Dou Ling, that they could be saved this time. Otherwise, it was easy to imagine what would happen next. It's okay. Dou Ling, waved her hand. This was the first time Dou Ling, was called a heroine. It was a refreshing feeling to be called a heroine. You bitches, how dare you hurt me? The Mystic Yuan sect will not let you off. Gong Changhe was beaten up by the Howling Moon Wolf King. He did not even have the chance to escape and was directly pressed against the floor. Gong Changhe, who had only revealed his head, cursed Dou Ling, in front of him. How dare you be so arrogant? Cut him for me. Dou Ling, suddenly said. Elder, save me. Gong Changhe immediately roared. As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly felt a terrifying fluctuation coming from the room next door. Boom! Xiao Yuan broke through the wall and rolled out, smashing onto the floor. He happened to be right in front of Gong Changhe. Pooh! Xiao Yuan immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood sprayed on the floor, making Xiao Yuan's complexion quite pale. Ah! There's blood. When Dou Ling, saw the blood, she immediately covered her eyes and turned her head away. Elder. Seeing Xiao Yuan land on the ground, Gong Changhe couldn't believe it. Even this primitive emperor elder was beaten to such a state. Who was the one who did it? Let's count and see if there's anyone else left behind. Li Zongjiu's voice came from the darkness. Then, with a few thuds, 5 heads rolled on the ground. When he saw the 5 heads, he was shocked. Gong Changhe immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. Even Xiao Yuan was shocked and couldn't believe it. These 5 people were the disciples of Xianyuan sect. There were a total of 7 people accompanying them. Qin Liang had gone to kill Tian Fei and had yet to return to the team. The heads of the remaining 5 people were all placed in front of everyone's eyes. How could anyone be surprised when they saw this scene? It was obvious that they were here to exterminate everyone. It's you, Li Zongjiu. Xiao Yuan raised his head and saw Li Zongjiu. Immediately, his eyes were filled with coldness. Just now, when he was cultivating and healing, someone sneaked in and attacked him. The weapon in Li Zongjiu's hand seemed to be specialized in restraining the yuan qi of primitive emperors. It was completely suppressed by Li Zongjiu, and there was no way to resist it. It's me. Li Zongjiu said lightly. You're courting death. Xiao Yuan was really angry. As an primitive emperor expert, he was repeatedly beaten to the ground and vomited blood by a young Yuan monarch expert. This made Xiao Yuan unable to bear such humiliation. Immediately, Xiao Yuan slapped the ground angrily. Boom! The whole floor collapsed in an instant. Suddenly, a golden rooster with golden light appeared on Xiao Yuan's body. When the golden rooster appeared, the aura in the air seemed to become extremely sharp. This was Xiao Yuan's original spirit. Golden Rooster King. Li Zongjiu, you're courting death. Xiao Yuan spat out blood at the corner of his mouth, but it couldn't conceal the tyrannical aura on his body. Staring at Li Zongjiu in front of him, his eyes were full of indifference. The ceiling and roof of the inn were penetrated by the golden rooster. The Howling Moon Wolf King crawled on the ground and kept baring his teeth, as if he was having a fierce collision with the aura of the golden rooster. Go and capture that brat. Li Zongjiu shot a glance at Gong Changhe, who was about to escape. The Howling Moon Wolf King didn't say anything and went straight down. Whoosh! Don't even think about leaving here alive today. Xiao Yuan was completely infuriated. How can a mere rooster give you so much confidence? Li Zongjiu looked at Xiao Yuan and couldn't help but sneer. He immediately released the yuan power in his hand. The aura of the desolate heaven essence was like a mountain range, shrouding the golden rooster in the sky layer by layer. Boom! Xiao Yuan also controlled the golden pheasant to peck down. It seemed to have the power to break through 10,000 caddies. Boom! Boom! A muffled sound was heard as the power of vibration spread out wildly. Li Zongjiu's figure instantly disappeared from where he was as he charged towards Xiao Yuan. Blood, soul, hell. When Li Zongjiu's hellish power spread out, it directly enveloped Xiao Yuan. Xiao Yuan was about to have a head-on confrontation with Li Zongjiu when he suddenly seemed to have fallen into some kind of domain. The power in his body was also greatly suppressed at this moment. Behind him, the Golden Rooster King's body kept shrinking. Domain power. You are only an Yuan monarch. How can you use the power of a domain? Xiao Yuan was shocked. He looked at Li Zongjiu in front of him. His eyes were full of shock. In order to create the effect of a domain, one had to be at least a grade 6 Yuan monarch. Now, Li Zongjiu was only an Yuan monarch, but he was able to use a domain. This was the real power of a domain. There was nothing fake about it. Could there be a grade 6 Yuan monarch powerhouse behind Li Zongjiu? That's right. If Li Zongjiu didn't have such an expert behind him, how could he be so arrogant? If Li Zongjiu didn't have such an expert behind him, how could he have such a powerful strength and means? Li Zongjiu, let's talk things over. Stop. I will immediately lift the sect must kill order. Your Mystic Yuan sect will not pursue the matter. Xiao Yuan said anxiously. The power of the domain was too strong, so Xiao Yuan's Golden Rooster power could only be maintained in his own body and not be attacked at all. Oh. In other words, your Mystic Yuan sect is willing to let me off. Li Zongjiu chuckled as he held the Desolate Heaven essence in his hand. That's right. We won't pursue the matter. Let's talk things over. You won't pursue the matter, but I want to pursue the matter with you. If you have any ability, just use it. I won't let you off today. Li Zongjiu said nonchalantly. Xiao Yuan cursed in his heart when he heard this. This darn guy, why didn't he say that he had such a powerful backer? The only thing he could do now was to escape. It didn't matter if those disciples died, but if Gong Changhe also died, then the matter would be serious. Therefore, Gong Changhe had to be the one to take him away. However, Xiao Yuan thought too highly of himself. With his strength, it wouldn't be easy for him to escape. Xiao Yuan used his Yuan spirit power and slashed at the border of the blood-soul hell. He wanted to split the hell open, but he only managed to create a crack. Li Zongjiu, who was behind him, had already waved the Desolate Heaven essence in his hand and smashed it at him. This move is called overlapping mountains. Li Zongjiu used the Desolate Heaven essence's technique. Instantly, the terrifying power stacked layer by layer and swept forward. Not good. Facing the power of Li Zongjiu's move, Xiao Yuan himself also sank into an extremely shocked state. Block it for me. The power of the Golden Rooster immediately swept out. However, under the light of the Desolate Heaven essence, it was instantly blasted clean. The Desolate Heaven essence directly hit Xiao Yuan. Pang! Xiao Yuan's body was immediately shattered inch by the domineering power of the Desolate Heaven essence. No! After Xiao Yuan let out a final roar, he couldn't speak again. He was no longer able to speak. Even Xiao Yuan's strength had been completely destroyed. Of course, none of Xiao Yuan's energy was wasted. All of it was integrated into the power of hell. It was completely absorbed. Li Zongjiu extended his hand and beckoned. With a swoosh, Xiao Yuan's storage ring landed in Li Zongjiu's hand. It was a ring that shone with a golden crown light. Chapter 713. It was not difficult for Li Zongjiu to kill Xiao Yuan. Below, Gong Changhe stood up and tried to escape. He had already avoided the Howling Moon Wolf King's pursuit. However, when he turned around and passed through a small alley, he was kicked in the face. Bang! Gong Changhe's entire body flipped and rolled on the ground. Who is it? Gong Changhe was kicked and rolled several times on the ground. Even now, his chest was still in great pain. Young sect master, long time no see. Tian Fei walked out from the darkness and looked at Gong Changhe, who was lying on the ground in a miserable state. His mood was extremely happy and joyful. In fact, this scene seemed to have come a little too quickly for Tian Fei. The usually high and mighty young sect master that no one dared to disobey was now like a broken and disheveled dog, kneeling in front of him, begging for mercy. When he saw Tian Fei walk out, Gong Changhe's eyes were filled with astonishment. "It's you. Why are you still?" Gong Changhe suddenly said in horror. No wonder Qin Liang hadn't come back after such a long time. Since Tian Fei was still alive, it meant that Qin Liang had already met with misfortune. "Why am I still alive? Are you disappointed to see that I am still alive?" Tian Fei sneered. Gong Changhe was lying on the ground and vomiting blood. In addition to his previous injuries, it was difficult for him to get up. "I have said that I will return this enmity tenfold." Tian Fei stretched out his hand. The flaw in his palm was clearly visible. Gong Changhe immediately understood that Tian Fei had come back for revenge. Tian Fei's origin pearl was clearly broken, but it had recovered its strength. It was simply unbelievable. How did Tian Fei repair his origin pearl? However, at this moment, Gong Changhe didn't have to think about such things. He had to think about how he could survive. "Tian Fei, calm down and listen to me. If you let me go, I will let bygones be bygones. When I return to the sect and become the sect master, I will definitely promote you to be the sect's great elder." Gong Changhe quickly said. This was the only thing that Gong Changhe could take out. "You know who I am. The sect will do everything they can to investigate my death. When the time comes, you won't be able to escape. I'll pretend that I never saw you today. Let me go." Gong Changhe's thoughts were clear. However, Tian Fei was well aware of Gong Changhe's temperament. The first thing he would do when he returned to the sect was that Gong Changhe would definitely send people to kill him. Even his family would not be spared. Moreover, this time, Gong Changhe would definitely eliminate the source of trouble. This person must not be allowed to return alive. Tian Fei sneered. "There's no need for that. You can't be the sect leader anymore. Just be a dead man." Immediately, Tian Fei's eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. "Tian Fei, you little bastard, how dare you!" Seeing this, Gong Changhe attempted to intimidate Tian Fei with his status as the junior sect master. However, Tian Fei had already drawn his sword. Whoosh! With a single slash, the head of Gong Changhe was sent flying. Whoosh! As Gong Changhe's head flew into the air, the Howling Moon Wolf King rushed over from afar and devoured Gong Changhe's head in one bite. "Now you know who's the real trash." Tian Fei looked at Gong Changhe's corpse on the ground and sneered. However, at this moment, he was still feeling a little complicated and excited. After all, the person he killed was the junior sect master who had been above him for many years. Even Tian Fei couldn't believe it. Although he had been dreaming about killing this guy, when the day really came, he still felt like he was in a dream. This feeling was really good. This wolf seems to like eating heads. Tian Fei looked at the Howling Moon Wolf King who had landed on the ground and could not help but feel a little nervous. Now that he had gotten rid of Gong Changhe, Tian Fei never thought that he could take revenge so quickly. Even before he was mentally prepared, his enemy had already fallen under his sword. He didn't need to accumulate more hatred in his heart. This kind of gratifying feeling of revenge was really delightful. However, just like what Gong Changhe had said earlier, the Xianyuan sect would definitely do their best to track down the culprits. Once they were discovered, it would be a disaster. However, there was no other way now. It was better to take one step at a time. If he returned to the sect, he would definitely die. However, if he stayed with Li Zongjiu, he still had a chance of survival. As long as Li Zongjiu did not die, Tian Fei, who was hiding behind him, would be able to keep his life. Li Zongjiu had easily killed Xiao Yuan with the blood soul hell. Just as Nangong Wuji had guessed, with Li Zongjiu's various means, the maximum level of the enemy he could face was around the third-grade Origin Emperor realm. If a fourth-grade Origin Emperor came, even Li Zongjiu would have to retreat. Of course, he still had means to save his life. There were countless moves that Li Zongjiu had not used yet. After all, it was really hard to meet an evenly matched opponent who deserved Li Zongjiu's full strength. Young master, Gong Changhe has been killed. If Xiao Yuan escapes, we must kill him. Tian Fei said nervously when he saw Li Zongjiu return alone. That old man is already dead. Li Zongjiu said indifferently. Dead? That was the one-armed Xiao Yuan, one of the 7 elders in charge of the Xianyuan sect. An Origin Emperor realm powerhouse. He died just like that, on a night like this that didn't even pick a day, he died just like that. Whoosh! Another figure landed on the ground. Yinghu was holding 2 people in his hands as he rushed towards Li Zongjiu. Young master, how should we deal with this fellow? The 2 people Yinghu was holding were not ordinary people. They were the 9th prince, Prince Xianming. The other person was the 9th prince's bodyguard, an Origin monarch realm powerhouse. However, experts like Yinghu did not need to face them head-on. They could rely on their superior movement skills to knock them out. Yinghu had obtained a lot of good things from Lu Wenshan. It was a very simple task for any alchemist to casually refine some medicinal herbs with special effects. The 2 people in Yinghu's hands were also in deep sleep at the moment. Take them away. Li Zongjiu glanced at them. The person he had captured was the 9th prince. Naturally, he could not be dealt with so casually in the city. Even if he wanted to get rid of him, he would have to bring him to a secluded corner first. Dou Ling also brought Han Shuang and Han Shui with her. Everyone returned to the White Deer Manor. Although tonight's battle was extremely spectacular, the process was not complicated. Yinghu had easily killed the disciples of the Xianyuan sect. Of course, Li Zongjiu had also killed 3 of them. We are here. Nangong Wuji's figure descended from the sky. Behind Nangong Wuji was a hunchbacked old man in ragged clothes. He held a walking stick in one hand and a broken bowl in the other. He was obviously a beggar in the Sacred Flame Royal City. Old Nan, is this the awesome kid you were talking about? The old beggar was quite boastful. When he arrived, he wanted to show off his power to Li Zongjiu. Where did this beggar come from? Kick him out. Li Zongjiu glanced at the old beggar and said contemptuously. I, Hong Shi-san, can get any food I want. The old beggar Hong Shi-san burst into laughter. Hong Shi-san. You are Hong Shi-san, the whirlwind staff. When the old beggar announced his name, Tian Fei was also surprised. Oh, this little guy has good eyesight. He actually knows my name. Hong Shi-san said proudly. Chapter 716, Revenge. Alright, stop showing off. Aren't you going to deal with the disciples of the Xianyuan sect? I have brought you some experts. When are you going to do it? Nangong Wuji said. Nangong Wuji was a person who loved to see the world in chaos. Since he happened to be here, he would definitely join in the fun. As for the revenge of the Xianyuan sect? Sorry, they hadn't thought about this at all. Do it? Why would I wait for you? I have already killed them. Li Zongjiu said. Killed them? What did he mean by that? Nangong Wuji wasn't the only one who didn't understand. Hong Shi-san was even more puzzled. Didn't these people want ZZ to deal with the people from Xianyuan sect? What did they mean when they said that all of them had been killed? It was really puzzling. This kid looks familiar. Nangong Wuji saw the 2 figures lying at Yinghu's feet. Why did one of them look like the 9th prince? We have already gone out and killed all the disciples of the Xianyuan sect. None of them were left alive. Tian Fei explained. Since the person in front of him was Whirlwind Rod Hung San, he was one of them. This was because Whirlwind Rod Hung San was hunted down by the Xianyuan sect in the past. Even Hung San's family was destroyed by the Xianyuan sect. Therefore, Hung San hated the Xianyuan sect very much. However, he was not strong enough to take revenge. Killing these small fries was not enough to satisfy him. Therefore, Hung San had been lying low, waiting for such an opportunity. Are you serious? Hung San was very clear about the movements of the Xianyuan sect. Immediately, Hung San's figure flashed and disappeared in front of them, flying towards the horizon. Boom! Seeing Hung San's figure disappear, he must be going to confirm whether those people were dead or not. Lock these two up in the stable and lock them up, Li Zongjiu said directly. The dignified ninth prince was reduced to a prisoner. This was probably something that the ninth prince had never dreamed of. There was actually someone who dared to kidnap him in the Holy Flame Imperial City. Even in his dreams, he would not dare to believe it. The two of you can go back by yourselves. I can't stay here anymore. Li Zongjiu looked at Han Shuang and Han Shua and said, Thank you for saving our lives, young master. The two of them looked at each other, then bowed to Li Zongjiu. Soon after, they left White Deer Manor. Naturally, they had to return to Purple Xian Pavilion and report back. No one could have imagined that the current situation would turn out like this. However, one thing was certain. It would not be easy for the ninth prince to walk out of the White Deer Manor. Boy, did you really kill the people of the Xianyuan sect? I heard that the one who came this time was an primitive emperor elder and some young sect master. Did you kill them all? Nangong Wuji asked Li Zongjiu. He had only gone out for a short time. He only had a meal with his old friends and had a few sips of wine. How could Li Zongjiu directly finish the matter? Is it strange? After Li Zongjiu finished speaking, he said to the shadow fox. I'm going to go into seclusion to refine pills. Before I come out, make sure that they don't cause trouble everywhere. Young master, don't worry. Yinghu nodded and said. Tonight was a good night to show off his skills. It also rekindled Yinghu's desire to fight. What they did tonight could be said to be quite exciting. Back then, Yinghu had embarked on the path of an assassin precisely because he liked the suffocating feeling of being on the verge of death. Tonight, he had experienced this feeling once again. He had not felt this way for a long time. Li Zongjiu went into seclusion once again. However, the disturbance in the outside world did not stop. Nangong Wuji used the excuse that he was going to start drawing designs as an excuse to stay in Li Zongjiu's Bailu Manor in a dignified manner. He was responsible for guarding the Heavenly Star Medicine Manor, but what was there to guard? All they did was read books, sweep the dust, and play with crickets. Other than that, there was nothing else to do. They were so bored that their balls hurt. They had already reached their age, so what else was there to say? If they didn't find something to do, then they would probably be like this for the rest of their lives. Therefore, Nangong Wuji found something for himself to do. As for the lack of a room, Nangong Wuji built a wooden house on the old locust tree in the courtyard in less than 15 minutes. Yinghu gasped in amazement when he saw Nangong Wuji's method. Nangong Wuji's method was too incredible. He could build a house in such a short time. The problem was what to do when it rained. Hung San, who had gone to check the situation, quickly returned to Bailu Manor. Looking at Hung San's expression, it could be said that he was quite excited. There was nothing more exciting than this. After so many years, he really did not expect that he could really meet someone who was not afraid of death and go against the Mystic Yuan sect, an enemy. It was simply inconceivable. At the same time, Hung San was extremely excited. Speaking of which, Hung San's heart was filled with joy. He's really dead. He's really dead. This guy has guts. I want to cooperate with him. Hong Shi-san said as he was about to rush in and become sworn brothers with Li Zongjiu. However, Nangong Wuji stopped him. Save it. He's refining pills now. Don't mess around. Nangong Wuji stopped Hong Shi-san. Refining pills? I'll wait for a while. Let me tell you, the Mystic Yuan sect has suffered a great loss this time. That old bastard Gong's son is dead. Even his head is missing. Don't you think it's great? I've recorded it with a recording crystal. When I see that old bastard Gong, I'll definitely magnify this scene and show it to him. I'll let him enjoy it slowly. Ha ha ha. Hong Shi-san laughed crazily. Nangong Wuji was meditating at the side, ignoring the somewhat crazy Hong Shi-san. This was because Hong Shi-san had endured too much pressure for so many years. Now that he finally saw that the Mystic Yuan sect had suffered such a great loss, he was naturally very happy. At least, he saw a glimmer of hope. This colossus was not invulnerable. I'll stay here first. I'd like to see how capable the Mystic Yuan sect is. Ha ha ha. Hong Shi-san laughed loudly. As he was about to enter Nangong Wuji's treehouse, he was kicked out by Nangong Wuji. Get lost and sleep outside. You old man, how dare you kick me? Hong Shi-san was about to argue with Nangong Wuji, but when he saw Nangong Wuji's action, he suddenly shut his mouth. Finally, he obediently walked outside and sat on the steps outside the manor to sleep without his clothes on. Underground black market. It was difficult for the wind and clouds above to spread to the underground. However, the premise was that the people underground did not take the initiative to investigate. At this moment, in front of the King of Fire, Oxhead General was reporting the situation of the person who had robbed their shop in the Ghost King Night Market. Since Li Zongjiu left the Ghost King Night Market, he had been targeted. Oh. You're saying that this Li Zongjiu not only killed the people of the Changsheng Pavilion, but also the people of the Mystic Yuan sect today? Without accurate information, Oxhead General naturally did not dare to come back casually. If the King of Fire was not satisfied with the information he had collected, he could lose his life at any time. In this Ghost King Night Market, human lives were worthless. Don't think that your strength is enough, or even think that you are quite important. If the Fire Ghost King was in a bad mood, he might directly kill you. It's really interesting. It seems that this guy has a good aptitude. Maybe we can cooperate. The King of Fire said mysteriously. Naturally, the people below did not understand the King of Fire's words, but they continued to listen to the King of Fire's orders. Now that we've found this guy, there's no need to worry. Keep a close eye on him and see what other amazing moves he can make. Yes, Ghost King. Oxhead General said respectfully. Also, you did a good job this time. Here's your reward. As soon as he finished speaking, Oxhead General found a fiery red elixir in his hand. When he saw the elixir, Oxhead General's face under the mask suddenly revealed an extremely surprised expression. This kind of elixir was only given out by the King of Fire when he was extremely happy. Chapter 714. Tianyuan Province, Mystic Yuan Sect. The Mystic Yuan sect was located in the core mountain range of Tianyuan Province. It oversaw the central region and absorbed the flourishing energy from all directions. The glory that the Mystic Yuan sect had created was unprecedented. There were more than 30,000 disciples in the sect. There were even more than 3,000 inner sect disciples. It was a huge scale. There were already more than 100 Yuan monarch disciples. Regardless of whether they were the future successors or the current pillars of the sect, they were all vigorous and radiant. It was precisely because the Mystic Yuan sect was full of vitality and had unlimited possibilities. Therefore, the sect master of the Mystic Yuan sect had made a bold attempt to let his son take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to propose marriage to Emperor Xingyan. If this matter could be resolved, then the Mystic Yuan sect would become the #1 sect in Tianyuan province. It might even be possible for the mystic Yuan sect to become the #1 sect in the Shengyan dynasty. There were still many sects that could compete with the mystic Yuan sect in the 13 prefectures. Therefore, if he wanted to establish his position as the #1 sect, he would have to use even more extreme means. However, an accident still occurred during this trip to Sacred Flame Royal City, even though a principal elder was personally leading the team. The sect leader had a bad premonition when he received the sect kill order. He quickly dispatched a team of law enforcers from outside the sect leader's territory. These teams were all outside the sect to deal with some matters, such as the pursuit of traitors within the sect. Or some families that had harmed the interests of the sect needed to be thoroughly punished. Even though they were righteous at the beginning, there was a change in the process. Gradually, they became extremely vicious and merciless, causing people to tremble in fear. However, this group was only halfway through their journey. Suddenly, they received news of a death in the sect. In the middle of the night, under the bright starry sky, a mournful ringing of a bell suddenly rang out in the sky, penetrating through the entire sect. Anyone who heard the ringing of the bell quickly gathered in the main hall. Gong Wuliang didn't even have time to change out of his pajamas as he hurriedly strode towards the hall. The one who sent the message was the Thousand Music Palace's palace master. Exactly what kind of news was it that required the Thousand Music Palace's palace master to personally come and report it? What is it? Spit it out. Gong Wuliang said hurriedly. The ringing of the bell indicated that it was a bad thing. Elder Xiao Yuan and young sect master died in the line of duty. The Thousand Sound Palace master cupped his hands and said, "What?" Gong Wuliang only felt a thunderous roar in his mind. Even with his cultivation, he felt a momentary blankness. From this matter, one could more or less see Gong Wuliang's fondness for Gong Changhe. At the same time, in order to temper Gong Changhe, he asked Xiao Yuan to accompany and protect him. Furthermore, with the protection of a divine item like the purple golden helmet, even if he faced an primitive emperor, he would at least have a chance to escape. He might even have the chance to introduce himself, so that he would not be killed directly under certain circumstances. In that case, his death would be too dubious. However, he did not expect that Gong Changhe would also die outside in the end. Could Sacred Flame Royal City really be a tiger's den? Even Gong Wuliang's son dared to be killed. Gong Wuliang naturally knew that those who dared to kill him definitely knew Gong Changhe's identity. Not only did they want to kill Gong Changhe, but they also wanted to provoke Gong Wuliang. How can the lives of my sect's people be trampled on by outsiders? Order the 7 palace masters to come to the conference hall. Immediately. Gong Wuliang said coldly. Killing Gong Changhe could be said to have directly angered the leader of the Xianyuan sect. Even if he just moved his finger, the experts would be able to cover the sky and cover the earth and kill him. There would be no chance for him to escape. Order the 4 palace masters to come and see me immediately. Gong Wuliang said to the Thousand Sound Palace master. The heart of the Thousand Sound Palace master shivered. The sect master had used the power hidden in the Tianyuan province. From this, one could see how furious the sect master was. It seemed that the sect master was going to do something big this time around. Immediately, the Thousand Sound Palace master hurriedly responded and withdrew. As for the disciples gathered outside the hall, they needed to meditate between heaven and earth to pay homage to the sect's brothers and elders who had passed away. Tianyuan province was naturally in a state of turmoil. Once the Xianyuan sect was angered, the situation in Tianyuan province would naturally change. The people in Tianyuan province naturally smelled the invisible smell of gunpowder. Although the Xianyuan sect dominated Tianyuan province, it didn't mean that they could sit back and relax. There were also many forces below that were covetously eyeing Tianyuan province's position as the overlord of Tianyuan province. As for how the Xianyuan sect would react, it would take at least a night to discuss. Sacred Flame Royal City. White Deer Manor. In the White Deer Manor, there were 2 primitive emperors overseeing it. Their strength was already very strong, which was simply surprising. When the sky was slightly bright, Do Ling had already turned over and got out of bed. She then called the Howling Moon Wolf King and prepared to go to the pleasure casino to learn. However, just as Do Ling was about to go out, she suddenly stopped and looked at the figure of a red-clothed woman who appeared at the door. "Is there anything I can help you with?" Do Ling opened the door and saw a woman in a red robe appear in front of her. The woman's face was also very delicate, making her unforgettable. It was as if she was the most beautiful goddess in one's dreams. The woman smiled at Do Ling and said, "I was passing by and was thirsty, so I came to ask for water." "Water? Then come in." Do Ling moved sideways to let the woman enter the house. The Howling Moon Wolf King at the side was extremely scared. It shivered and covered its eyes with its paws, as if it was extremely afraid of the aura of the woman in front of it. "Coming out to ask for water so early in the morning, you're really interesting," Do Ling couldn't help but say. When the red-clothed woman walked into the courtyard, two figures jumped down from the treehouse. Nangong Wuji and Hong Shi-san sized up the red-clothed woman in front of them with astonishment. Hong Shi-san had been sleeping outside, but it was too cold in the middle of the night, so he directly went to sleep beside Nangong Wuji's treehouse. Both of them were origin emperors, but when they saw the red-clothed woman in front of them, they became extremely nervous. When they saw it, they couldn't believe it at all. The woman's aura was so terrifying. Although the woman did not have any malice, her cultivation realm was extremely high. The woman glanced around and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. "Can you stop the Mystic Yuan sect with just the few of you?" the woman said contemptuously. However, it brought them great shock. "Who are you?" Nangong Wuji said in a cold voice. He didn't expect that he would encounter such a terrifying person. He didn't know who had provoked him. If Nangong Wuji knew about this, he would definitely beat that person to death. Nangong Wuji thought to himself. Nangong Wuji, a former member of the Imperial Extreme Palace. 10 years ago, he was injured by the Desolation Sky Scorpion and left the underworld. Hong Shi-san, the 19th generation successor of the Whirlwind Staff skill, has fallen to such a state. It's really pitiful. Little girl, even I can't see through you. Chapter 7:15. The King of Fire looked at the people in front of him with interest. Then, his gaze fell on the room where Li Zongjiu was cultivating in seclusion. His gaze slightly condensed. At this moment, Nangong Wuji and the others had already felt that the person in front of them had ill intentions. The person's gaze fell on Li Zongjiu's position. Could it be that the person was targeting Li Zongjiu? This brat had indeed provoked someone he shouldn't have. "Who are you?" Nangong Wuji's face darkened. If the person could clearly know that he was a member of the Imperial Extreme Palace, then the person must not be a simple person. Nangong Wuji could not even think of resisting the other party's imposing manner. This made Nangong Wuji extremely shocked. This person's strength was far above his. If they were to fight, Nangong Wuji might not be a match for the person in front of him. "You're not qualified to know who I am. When Li Zongjiu comes out of seclusion, ask him to come and see me. I've already come to see him. This is my sincerity. Otherwise, I'll have to settle accounts with him," the King of Fire said. His actions and eyes were filled with a kind of charm that would make people's hearts flutter. For Nangong Wuji and the others, it was absolutely terrifying that this person's every move could affect their minds. When Nangong Wuji and Hong Shi-san finally reacted, they were both covered in cold sweat. When they looked at the King of Fire, they directly disappeared from where they were. To be able to disappear without a trace, the King of Fire's strength was quite terrifying. Hiss. This person's strength is at least a 7th grade primitive emperor, Hong Shi-san said in surprise. His expression was extremely shocked, which really made Hong Shi-san feel frightened. There were countless experts hiding in the city, and Hung Shir-san was only a second-grade primitive emperor, which was nothing in the city. In the eyes of ordinary people, this was already the highest level of cultivation. However, in the eyes of the Origin Emperor realm experts, this was already in existence at the very bottom of the hierarchy. No, at least a 9th-grade primitive emperor. Nangong Wuji said in a deep voice. His tone was solemn. Nangong Wuji used to be a 6th-grade Origin Emperor, but now, he had fallen to such a state. However, it didn't mean that Nangong Wuji hadn't seen any top-notch experts. Nangong Wuji had seen a few 9th-grade Origin Emperors before. Those who could reach such a level had a transcendent realm and level. Just like the lady in red, she looked like an ordinary person, but upon closer inspection, only those who were stronger could feel the pressure of such an expert. If an ordinary person stood in front of the woman in red and looked at her, they wouldn't feel any pressure at all. They would just feel like an ordinary person. So strong. Fuck, are they here for revenge? Then I have to pack up and leave. Hung Shir-san originally only wanted to deal with the Mystic Yuan sect, but the woman in red clearly looked more terrifying than the Mystic Yuan sect. She was at least a 9th-grade primitive emperor realm expert. If she was a supreme being expert, then what was there to do? He didn't even need to take revenge. Pack up, my ass. It's just a broken bowl and a broken stick. Nangong Wuji said with jealousy and disdain. It's getting late. I have to go and beg for food, otherwise, I won't have any food to eat today. Hung Shir-san took his bowl and stick and walked out of the manor step by step. The sudden visit of a top-notch expert really frightened these people. However, Do Ling didn't feel nervous at all. That sister is very beautiful. Why do you all look so scared? Do Ling looked at the two people curiously and expressed her confusion. Ahem, I almost forgot that you are also a little monster. Nangong Wuji naturally knew that Do Ling's identity was extraordinary, but he didn't expect that her identity was so extraordinary that even the lady in red couldn't see through her. This could only mean that Do Ling was someone who couldn't be offended. Oh, the casino is about to open. I have to hurry, otherwise, there won't be any good seats. Seeing that it was getting late, Do Ling hurriedly went out with the Howling Moon Wolf King. The Howling Moon Wolf King's state gradually recovered after the lady in red left. Otherwise, it would have been cowardly, hiding in a corner and shivering. It was really a disgrace to the Wolf King. Such a thing was really embarrassing for a Wolf King. Moreover, the human world seemed to be too dangerous. The Howling Moon Wolf King counted when he was free. In this small courtyard, there were 4 or 5 people who had the ability to kill him. How could the Howling Moon Wolf King survive in this place? He had no status at all. It seemed that he had to go out and bully some other meta beasts, subdue them, and then catch them and bully them. When the Howling Moon Wolf King first came here, he was very impressive. However, he gradually felt that his physical strength could no longer keep up with the rest of the pack. For the Howling Moon Wolf King, this kind of life was really too miserable. He had to get rid of it as soon as possible. No, this kind of expert actually came here personally. Nangong Wuji finally woke up from the shock of seeing the King of Fire. Now, as he looked at Nangong Wuji, he was extremely shocked. Even such an expert came here personally to find Li Zongjio. Didn't this mean that Li Zongjio was even more important? Just thinking about it made him feel scared. Nangong Wuji's eyes were also filled with extreme shock. He looked in the direction of Li Zongjio. In his heart, he was determined to find out the background of this kid. It seemed that some of the things that happened to this kid were extremely exciting. At this moment, Li Zongjio didn't know that the King of Fire had come to find him personally. Even if he knew, he wouldn't take it seriously. This was because he was refining an extremely important elixir. Even with Li Zongjio's cultivation, it still took him nearly 3 days to refine the elixir. On the 3rd day, in the sky above the White Deer Manor, a terrifying thundercloud had already appeared and was brewing. Hong Shi-san also stuck his head out of the tree. It was sunny just now. Why is it so dark all of a sudden? Damn, it's going to be thunder. Hong Shi-san exclaimed when he saw the dark cloud in the sky and jumped down from the tree. Now, Hong Shi-san would sleep until noon every day. Then, he would go out to beg for food in the afternoon and come back in the evening. It seemed that he was very busy. Living on top of this treehouse was also shamelessly staying here. No matter how Nangong Wuji urged him, he couldn't drive him away. In addition to practicing martial arts, Nangong Wuji was also designing the open space beside the treehouse. As a former master architect, Nangong Wuji's craftsmanship had been neglected for many years. Now that he picked it up again, he needed to put in a lot of effort. The thundercloud doesn't look like it's going to rain. It looks like it's going to eat people. Nangong Wuji was holding a pen and a carving knife. When he raised his head and looked at the dark cloud, he was also surprised. He looked at the sky and didn't see such dark clouds. It was obvious that this dark cloud had come specifically for them. No, to be precise, it was coming for Li Zongjiu, who was in seclusion. Chapter 716. At this moment, almost everyone in Royal City could see the emergence of this thundercloud. The terrifying power that seeped out of the terrifying thundercloud. It really made people break out in cold sweat. They were also deeply aware of the terrifying power of the thundercloud. In the Mirror Moon Villa, Master Jingyue was teaching Kun Arashi the use of mental energy. When she discovered that Kun Arashi's mental energy was actually very special, she was unusually surprised and immediately became interested in teaching him. Therefore, Kun Arashi, who had just escaped from Sun Yu's sea of suffering, fell into Master Jingyue's fire pit again. This situation was naturally painful and joyous for Kun Arashi. This was a good opportunity to learn new skills. Given Master Jingyue's status, ordinary people would not have such luck and opportunities. Therefore, Kun Arashi also treasured this opportunity very much. When she sensed the appearance of the thundercloud in the sky, Master Jingyue also cast a look of horror. This is a pill lightning cloud. Master Jingyue's mental energy sensed that the power of this pill lightning was at least grade 6 or above. Grade 6 pill lightning. Who can attract such a pill lightning? Master Jingyue was not the only one. Many experts in the city also noticed Li Zongjiu's situation. The intelligence agencies also began to work quickly. During this process, they also reported Li Zongjiu's situation one by one. Attracting a grade 6 pill lightning, regardless of whether it was a success or failure, meant that a grade 6 alchemist had appeared. It's Li Zongjiu. It's Li Zongjiu again. Li Zongjiu has broken through to become a grade 6 alchemist. A grade 6 alchemist. How is that kid possible? Qian Wuji and the rest, who were still lingering in Royal City, immediately went to investigate when they sensed the appearance of the grade 6 pill lightning. When they found out that the person who had attracted the pill lightning was most likely Li Zongjiu, they could not help but feel a sense of dread. One must know that just a second ago, Qian Wuji had gathered a group of his scoundrel friends and was preparing to attack Li Zongjiu. At the very least, he had to take revenge for the past. That was why Qian Wuji was so shocked. Damn it. It's best if he gets struck by lightning. Qian Wuji thought to himself. Within the heavenly stellar medicine manor. Both Elder Bai Ku and Elder Sui Rong were shocked and they sensed the terrifying power. This is the power of a grade 6 pill lightning, heavenly pill pavilion. Su Hong was currently handing over some matters to a few big shots from the heavenly pill pavilion. This was because there would be an important competition at the beginning of spring next year. Currently, these big shots were making preparations. In this competition, they wanted to completely display the name of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion in the Saint Flame Empire. Not only within the borders of the Saint Flame Empire, but it would also have an absolute influence on the entire mainland. What is that? One of the big shots was the first to sense the existence of the pill lightning. He stood up and walked out of the window. At first, he couldn't sense it clearly, but later, he could clearly see that it was a pill lightning. And it was a grade 6 pill lightning. The appearance of this pill lightning immediately caused the hearts of the big shots to tremble. A grade 6 alchemist. In my city, there's actually a 6th grade alchemist. Su Hong, who is this person? The big shot said directly. At this moment, Su Hong was also dumbfounded. When did this happen? A grade 6 alchemist was refining pills. Now, there were less than 10 grade 6 alchemists in the city. Half of them were in seclusion. 2 of them were in the palace, and one of them didn't make a move easily. He had retired from Jianghu for many years to recuperate. There was also the master of the Heavenly Star Medicine Manor. He had been wandering outside these years, and there was no trace of him. Other than that, there were no other grade 6 alchemists. There was also Tsang Chu from the Spirit Valley sect. That old guy was taken away by the people of the Spirit Valley sect. It was said that they paid a great price. Now, the Longevity Pavilion was also making trouble for the Spirit Valley sect. The value of a grade 6 alchemist was comparable to 10 Yuan Emperor experts. If they could find a wild grade 6 alchemist and directly recruit him to the Heavenly Pill Pavilion, it would be a very good thing for the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Although the old master of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion was a grade 6 alchemist, he hadn't shown up for a long time. His condition was not very good. If something happened, it would lead to a shortage of new alchemists. Wouldn't the problem be serious? Therefore, it was necessary to find a new grade 6 alchemist to take charge of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. This, just when Su Hong himself was at a loss, Su Sha suddenly barged in. Elders, Deputy Pavilion Master, a grade 6 pill lightning has appeared in the city. According to the information, this alchemist is most likely the Imperial Alchemist, Li Zongjiu. Su Sha appeared at the door and said in surprise. For Su Sha, this was something that she couldn't believe, but the information showed it. The place where the pill lightning appeared was the Bailu Manor where Li Zongjiu was. After knowing that it was Li Zongjiu, Su Sha didn't care who was in the meeting and directly rushed in. When she saw that the Vice Pavilion Master had personally come to the meeting, Su Sha knew that she was done for. Nonsense, who let you in? Get out! Su Hong immediately shouted in a low voice. After all, the Heavenly Pill Pavilion belonged to the Imperial Court. In the Heavenly Pill Pavilion, there was a strict system. If she barged in casually, she might be treated as an assassin and killed directly. Su Sha was about to leave and escape, but the Deputy Pavilion Master waved his hand. You just said, who is this grade 6 alchemist? The Deputy Pavilion Master asked very seriously. Su Sha couldn't help but feel nervous. She had made a big mistake by barging in rashly today. She didn't want to bring any trouble to her grandfather. You don't have to worry. It's Li Zongjiu. It must be him. The Deputy Pavilion Master looked at Su Hong, and Su Hong quickly said. This person is a student of the Heavenly Star Medicine Manor. Some time ago, he won first place in the exchange competition between the 3 major alchemy academies and obtained an alchemist qualification certificate. It's all him. Su Hong, I don't care what methods you use, you must rope this person into our Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Su Hong's face was naturally filled with a trace of surprise. No matter what methods you use, the weight of this sentence was quite heavy. Yes, Deputy Pavilion Master. Su Hong quickly agreed. Soon after, he began to make preparations. No matter how one put it, this pill lightning grand banquet was definitely not to be missed. It was likely that there were many pairs of eyes within the city staring at Li Zongjiu. As long as Li Zongjiu appeared, there would definitely be a situation where everyone would fight over him. Chapter 717. At this moment, Li Zongjiu was not disturbed by the outside world. When Nangong Wuji and the others sensed the appearance of the thunderclouds, they had already strengthened their defenses. During this process, they also prevented some people from taking advantage of the chaos to carry out some destructive actions. Hong Shi-san also changed his usual mischievous smile and watched from a high place. Lu Wenshan, who was in the stable, personally felt the appearance of the pill lightning in front of him. He could barely open his eyes as the lightning flickered. However, Lu Wenshan's face was full of envy and admiration. This realm was also what Lu Wenshan was thinking. If he was the one facing the pill lightning today, how wonderful would it be? Given Li Zongjiu's strength, today's pill lightning was enough to wake some people up. After all, there would always be some people who would think that Li Zongjiu was just a young man who could be casually ignored. In fact, Li Zongjiu's strength was there for all to see. A grade 6 alchemy master was enough to make a colossus like the imperial court pay attention to him. After all, if he was an primitive emperor expert, some people might have scruples about his previous background and who he had offended before running away. However, it was different for a grade 6 alchemy master. It did not matter who he had offended. As long as a grade 6 alchemy master came to seek refuge, no matter the price, they would have to make him stay. This was how strong and firm they were. It was absolutely impossible for a grade 6 alchemy master to seek refuge and then drive him out. Such a scene would definitely not occur. From now on, the people of Sacred Flame Royal City would also recognize the value of Li Zongjiu. They would clearly realize the position that Li Zongjiu could stand in. He was so arrogant and domineering. No wonder he's so young and frivolous. He's so capable. Lu Wenshan exclaimed. Tian Fei, who was sitting with Lu Wenshan, was also dumbfounded. Did he hear wrongly? A grade 6 alchemy master. The young master was a grade 6 alchemy master. Li Zongjiu's strength was simply too terrifying. In fact, it had already reached a terrifying level. It was unbelievable. Naturally, it wouldn't be so simple. Everything Li Zongjiu had experienced was equivalent to his cultivation. It had always been like this. These people could see how strong Li Zongjiu's external cultivation was, but they didn't know what Li Zongjiu had experienced. They could only treat it as Li Zongjiu's demonic talent. From now on, another giant would definitely appear in Saint Flame Royal City. He did not look down on Li Zongjiu because of his age. With Li Zongjiu's strength, he was completely capable of standing on equal footing with the other big shots in the city. In the secret chamber, Li Zongjiu stared intently at the Azura cauldron in front of him. With the strength of the Azura cauldron, it naturally had no problem withstanding the power of the grade 6 elixir. However, Li Zongjiu felt that something was wrong. There seemed to be a wisp of remnant soul in the Azura cauldron, causing Li Zongjiu to be unable to condense the elixir. How dare you compete with me for the elixir? How presumptuous! Li Zongjiu slapped the Azura cauldron in front of him, and his mental strength immediately rushed into the Azura cauldron. When Li Zongjiu's mental strength opened up in the Azura cauldron, the flames that filled the sky gradually appeared in front of Li Zongjiu. Within the endless flames, there was a golden elixir that was brewing. However, it had not taken the final step. This was the longevity myriad yuan elixir that Li Zongjiu had painstakingly refined. From the longevity myriad yuan elixir, there was a surging life force. With the spread of this life force, the power that appeared would be coveted by any origin emperor powerhouse. This was a kind of quantitative change that led to qualitative change. Come out! Li Zongjiu's mental strength instantly swept through the flames in front of him like a storm. Behind him, the blood dragon was hovering. After all, the thing he was facing was not ordinary, and he could not be too careless. Although Li Zongjiu did not know the situation in front of him, Li Zongjiu could feel that the existence of this thing must be very strong. I didn't expect that such a small place could have such a method of refining elixir. Thanks to this elixir, it actually woke me up. An aged voice whizzed out from within the flames. Li Zongjiu's heart sank a little when he heard it. This was because it was just a voice, but it was as if the divine might of the heavens had descended. You're quite capable. Li Zongjiu felt the pressure descending. The surrounding flames that originally belonged to Li Zongjiu were actually mobilized by him at this moment. Boom! It was as if a heavenly aura had forced the surrounding flames away. Through the flickering flames, Li Zongjiu also saw a dark shadow coming towards Li Zongjiu. The blood dragon roared, turned around, and blasted forward. Where did this reptile come from? Get lost! Immediately, a palm print, like the Buddha's Vajra, sent the blood dragon flying. Boom! The powerful blood dragon did not even engage in battle with the enemy before it was sent flying by the palm. After it fell to the ground, its body swayed, as if it would disappear at any moment. When Li Zongjiu saw this move, he was slightly surprised. The power of this move looked extremely extraordinary. Such a move was something that even Li Zongjiu had never seen before, so he was naturally surprised. However, when the person rushed in front of him, a terrifying devouring force attacked, as if it was about to devour Li Zongjiu. Immediately, Li Zongjiu reacted quickly. Desolate Heaven Essence. Could it be that the self-righteous cultivation of people nowadays had already reached such a level? It was an eye-opener for Li Zongjiu. According to the rules of the apprenticeship ceremony, you need to prepare 500 virgin boys and 500 virgin girls for me. However, time is tight now, so you can just offer this golden core to me. The Black Soul said. Li Zongjiu adjusted his body. When he saw the Black Soul's actions, he smashed the Desolate Heaven Essence in his hand at the Black Soul's head. What are you doing? The Black Soul shrieked as it was instantly shattered by the power of the Desolate Heaven Essence. When Li Zongjiu saw the drifting energy, he couldn't help but be moved. Immediately, his mental strength spread out and collected the shattering power of the Black Soul. Letting this guy talk so much nonsense had already delayed Li Zongjiu for a long time. Li Zongjiu didn't come here to listen to this guy's stories. With such a cowardly attitude, Li Zongjiu couldn't be bothered to say more. After collecting the surrounding soul fragments, Li Zongjiu's mental strength moved and he left the Azura Cauldron world. The elixir pill was still being baked outside. The use of these soul fragments was to allow Li Zongjiu to know the memories within the fragments after refining them in the future. Compared to directly interrogating, it was naturally easier. When it came to doing things, he was never one to dawdle. Prepare to receive the power of the pill lightning. Li Zongjiu's body returned to normal. Without the interference of the mysterious Black Soul, Li Zongjiu began his final action. Immediately, with a slap of his hand, the medicine cauldron was sent flying. Then, Li Zongjiu's body abruptly flew towards the barren mountain that belonged to him. This barren mountain was bought by Li Zongjiu previously under the order of someone. Now, this barren mountain was close to 1,000 mu in size. For Li Zongjiu, it was already enough. Boom! Li Zongjiu's body had just landed when the thunderclouds stopped brewing. Instead, it directly descended from the sky like a furious dragon descending to the world. The purple lightning struck Li Zongjiu's Azura Cauldron. Li Zongjiu's body also endured the terrifying power of the lightning. Crackle! Immediately, the power of the lightning spread over Li Zongjiu's body. However, Li Zongjiu was able to quickly refine this power. Ancient Golden Tyrant Body Art. This elemental art circulated crazily in his body, rapidly digesting the power of the lightning around his body. Comfortable. For ordinary people, this pill lightning was as terrifying as the god of death. However, for Li Zongjiu, this pill lightning was the best thing to temper his body. The power of this pill lightning was not too strong. After all, it was just the pill lightning of a beginner grade 6 elixir. When it reached the intermediate grade 6 and advanced grade 6 elixir, it would be truly terrifying. When a grade 8 pill lightning appeared, it could already form a kind of energy that could destroy heaven and earth. Even a part of its power poured into this barren mountain. Immediately, the barren mountain rocks that they were sitting on were forcefully tempered. Some of the originally useless rocks and yellow soil also possessed a special power at this moment. A total of 7 pill lightning bolts fell in succession. One after another, they fell on Li Zongjiu's body. When the pill lightning dissipated, many experts appeared in the vicinity of this barren mountain. However, with Nangong Wuji, Heng Shisan, and the others here, they naturally would not act rashly. It's done. The 10,000 yuan longevity elixir. Li Zongjiu's eyes revealed a trace of joy. After all, it took a lot of effort to refine this elixir. When a dazzling golden elixir appeared in front of his eyes, Li Zongjiu's face revealed a smile. Li Zongjiu, you killed my Mystic Yuan sect's disciple. Today, my Mystic Yuan sect will carry out the order to kill you. A rough voice suddenly reverberated throughout the heavens and earth. Chapter 718. A thunderous sound was heard. A sound that was far more violent than the sound of thunder came from afar. 7 figures swiftly charged over from the horizon in front of his eyes. These 7 figures were riding on raging lightning bolts. Heng Shisan, who was at the side, immediately became agitated when he saw the surging lightning bolts appear. These damn things really took the initiative to come to me. Heng Shisan immediately stomped the crutch in his hand on the ground, and an extremely terrifying aura rushed towards the 7 figures. Bastards of the Xianyuan sect, your grandfather is here. Heng Shisan's Yuan Emperor aura spread out. Those who had gathered around to join in the fun also felt the terrifying murderous aura coming from Heng Shisan. This old thing. Nangong Wuji stomped his foot. Couldn't he just bear with it and wait for a while before launching a sneak attack? Now that he had rushed out, what was the meaning of this? However, these people weren't a threat to Nangong Wuji and the others at all. The people who had come from the Xianyuan sect were a supervisor and 6 Xianyuan sect law enforcement guards. Judging from their attire, the person who had come was a law enforcement guard in black from the Xianyuan sect. Other than the supervisor in white and the law enforcement guard in black, who were Yuan emperors, the other 5 people were only at the peak of the Yuan monarch realm. The 7 of them were originally very aggressive and were ready to take down Li Zongjiu in one go. After all, this kid had just displayed the strength of a grade 6 alchemist. If they did not take him down now, things would become even more miserable and complicated. This was because the appearance of a grade 6 alchemist would definitely make some forces go crazy. They would even be willing to face the pressure of the Xianyuan sect to ensure the safety of Li Zongjiu. In this way, it would not be easy to kill Li Zongjiu. Although the Xianyuan sect was the biggest sect in the Tianyuan province, its influence was limited after all. A strong dragon could not defeat a snake in its own territory. Once there was a conflict, it would naturally be difficult to settle it. It was already a very risky move for them to cross the border of a province to hunt Wuqi down. The Xianyuan sect also had its own enemies. If a large number of experts were sent out, the sect would be empty. They might be ambushed. Although the sect wouldn't be destroyed, it wouldn't be a problem for them to cause some damage to the sect. However, the sudden appearance of 2 primitive emperors shocked the Mystic Yuan sect and the others. The supervisor of the Mystic Yuan sect, Bai Jinghen, and the black-clothed law enforcement officer, Wei Xiongli. Behind him were 5 white-robed law enforcers, all of whom were peak Yuan monarchs. Even the 4 great families of the city might not be able to resist such a lineup easily. They would have to join forces at the very least. However, when they were trying to capture Li Zongjiu, they actually encountered such a tough opponent, which surprised the 2 of them. This has nothing to do with you. It's a grudge between the Xianyuan sect and Li Zongjiu. Do the 2 of you want to be enemies with the Xianyuan sect? Bai Jinghen said coldly. The 9 figures rose into the air and faced each other. However, the aura of Nangong Wuji and Nangong Wui was not inferior to Bai Jinghen and the others. Awoo! The roar of the howling moon wolf king was heard from afar. Then, like a gust of wind, it brought Dou Ling, and soared into the sky. They came to a position next to Nangong Wuji. Staring at the menacing people in front of her, Dou Ling's big, watery eyes suddenly became fierce. Are these people here to fight? Girl, stay back. Be careful. Nangong Wuji said hurriedly. Why would a little girl like her be needed for this kind of thing? If that was the case, it would be too embarrassing for them. Hong Shisan looked at Bai Wuheng in front of him. Hey, do you think this is the Tianyuan province? What is the Xianyuan sect? Hong Shisan said disdainfully. Although Hong Shisan's main enemy was the sect master of the Xianyuan sect, Hong Shisan did not mind killing a few of these lackeys who bullied others and looked down on others. He wanted to collect some interest first. You're courting death. Xiong Lei was about to rush up. He was wearing a pair of iron finger gloves and his wrists were as thick as an ordinary person's thigh. He looked extremely fierce. However, when Xiong Lei was about to attack, he saw the crutch in Hong Shisan's hand. You are Hong Shisan. Xiong Lei recognized the crutch. He immediately said in surprise. Years ago, this crutch killed an elder of the Xianyuan sect. It could be said that it was a very serious incident that happened in the Xianyuan sect. Looking at Hong Shisan's appearance now, although his face was full of stubble, his eyes were full of hatred. It could be more or less recognized that the person in front of him was Hong Shisan, who was hunted down by the Xianyuan sect in the past. Since you still recognize your grandfather, why don't you kneel down and kowtow to him? Hong Shisan said. He was not in a hurry to take action. In any case, there would be a battle sooner or later. Today, these people obviously wanted to launch a sneak attack on Li Zongjiu. All he needed to do was to block these people and wait for Li Zongjiu to recover. Everyone, this is the Sacred Flame Royal City. You can't mess around here. Unknowingly, two black-clothed and golden-armored figures appeared not far away from them. Seeing the two men's attire and the looming gold medal on their waists, these people were slightly shocked. Top secret guards. The Shengyan dynasty was the fiercest and most powerful organization. The outside world did not know how many experts there were in this organization. This was because every time there was an enemy that could not be dealt with, a more powerful figure would appear among the top secret guards to solve the problem. Later on, the top secret guard had become an extremely powerful deterrent. One time, they had captured a wanted criminal who had killed dozens of people. This person was also the young lord of a first-class sect. However, on that day, the top secret guard had only dispatched 2 people and they had swaggered the wanted criminal away from the first-class sect. Otherwise, this first-rate sect would only end up being annihilated. Bai Jingheng saw the appearance of the 2 top secret guards. He knew that there was something fishy going on. The top secret guards were in such a hurry that there must be someone behind them. Today, they wanted to take Li Zongjiu's life, but they had already missed the opportunity. He exchanged a glance with Xiong Lei. He had already made up his mind to leave now and make a decision later. We were too impulsive. However, the Mystic Yuan sect will not let him off easily for killing our men. Tell Li Zongjiu to wash his neck and wait for us. As Xiong Lei spoke, he sounded like a ferocious lion roaring in a low voice, which was very shocking. Nangong Wuji and Hong Shisan did not pursue the matter. After all, the other party outnumbered them. If a fight really broke out, the odds of victory would not be high. Furthermore, the 5 peak Yuan monarchs were not to be trifled with. If they were in their Yuan spirit state, their destructive power would be boundless. Let's go. Xiong Lei waved his hand and prepared to leave with his men. However, at that moment, a voice was heard from the top of the barren mountain. You came to my private territory and let out a few farts. How can I, Li Zongjiu, continue to show my face if the world finds out? Chapter 719. As soon as he said that, a shadow came from the top of the mountain. Li Zongjiu tapped his feet lightly and his figure appeared in front of everyone. Many people who had never seen Li Zongjiu before were trying their best to remember Li Zongjiu's appearance. This was a 6th-grade alchemist who was extremely popular in the city. Even if they couldn't make friends with him, they couldn't afford to offend him. Facing an alchemist, there was such pressure. Li Zongjiu's figure appeared at an extremely fast speed. Even the primitive emperors couldn't see Li Zongjiu's movements clearly. The 2 top-secret guards looked at Li Zongjiu. Private territory? This was what they were concerned about. If this was a private property, then some of the fierce fights would have nothing to do with them. In Royal City, fighting and even any violent incidents were prohibited. Once discovered, it would be strictly investigated. However, there were too many grudges in Jianghu. It wasn't easy to deal with all of them. Violent incidents also happened from time to time. There was also a very special rule. If you trespassed into other people's private territory and were beaten to death, the imperial court wouldn't pursue the matter. After all, if you went to provoke them, the people in Jianghu wouldn't follow so many rules. You could bring people to kill people in other people's families, but the range of activity must be within the private territory. Once others ran to the main street, you couldn't do anything. If you did, it would be investigated and you would bear the crime of murder. The consequences were quite serious. Although this place was a barren mountain, it had become Li Zongjiu's private property. It had been bought by Li Zongjiu. Therefore, it wouldn't be a problem for Li Zongjiu to kill the people in front of him. The 2 top-secret guards seemed to have discussed for a while before they left. When there was no murder, there was no need for the top-secret guard to show up. Only when there was a problem would the top-secret guard appear to solve it. Today, he had received special instructions from someone to protect Li Zongjiu. But now, it seemed that they were no longer needed. Bai Jingheng and Xiong Lei grinned sinisterly when they saw the 2 top-secret guards leave. They were simply digging their own graves. Initially, the Mystic Yuan sect did not want to break the rules. However, now that Li Zongjiu had taken the initiative to jump out and seek death, they could not be blamed for being cruel. Hehe, you must be Li Zongjiu. Are you going to come with us yourself, or do you want us to break your legs and take you away? Xiong Lei laughed coldly. At the same time, he touched the gloves in his hands. When he looked at Li Zongjiu, he seemed to be imagining the scene of Li Zongjiu being beaten to a pulp. Li Brat, these people are not simple. Nangong Wuji said in a deep voice. Li Zongjiu had used some unknown method to kill Xiao Yuan and the others that day. However, the strength of these people was not simple. They were not as simple as Xiao Yuan. These people were specialized in carrying out some ferocious missions, facing extremely ferocious characters. Their combat experience was definitely not comparable to trash like Xiao Yuan. Even the strength of the 5 white-clothed law enforcement guards was enough to kill Xiao Yuan easily. The level of the people they were facing now was not the same. Hehe, you are quite confident. You are all from the Mystic Yuan sect, right? It just so happens that my barren mountain needs some blood to water it. I can only ask you for help. Li Zongjiu said immediately. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure charged towards Xiong Lei. Boom! Li Zongjiu's movement was extremely fast. However, Xiong Lei and the others were not ordinary people. Moreover, the gap between Li Zongjiu and Li Zongjiu's realm was relatively large. When Xiong Lei saw that Li Zongjiu was attacking him, the corners of his mouth curved into a sneer. You are really overestimating yourself. The 5 of you, take care of those 2. Leave him to me. Xiong Lei also made a solemn vow. He rolled up his sleeves and rushed towards Li Zongjiu. In Xiong Lei's eyes, Li Zongjiu was just a jumping clown. Facing Li Zongjiu who was rushing towards him, Xiong Lei directly raised his fist. Boom! The air seemed to be compressed by Xiong Lei's strength. He directly pressed Li Zongjiu's body onto his fist. When he was about to kill Li Zongjiu with a punch, he suddenly realized that Li Zongjiu's body had disappeared. Boom! A terrifying force directly penetrated Li Zongjiu's afterimage and spread 100 meters away. The surging fist aura was like boiling magma. It was as if it was going to roast the sky. He escaped really fast. Heaven and earth overturning fist. Xiong Lei immediately waved his fist around him. Immediately, a terrifying force filled the air. As the surroundings trembled, it forced a figure in front of him. It was as if the figure was about to be crushed by this force. Desolate heaven essence, break for me. Li Zongjiu used the hidden dragon art under his feet. His body entered an ethereal state and reached the extreme. His figure appeared and outlined a state of Mount Sumeru in the sky. The formless space became Li Zongjiu's stepping stone and was also an excellent hiding place. Boom! The desolate heaven essence carried the heaven-crushing force. It was like a 10,000-foot-tall mountain sweeping across. The aura of the mountain blocked all the fists that were constantly thundering out, easily dispersing all the power. Even Xiong Lei's eyes revealed a trace of astonishment. Good weapon, but this weapon is not something you can control. Overlord's Cauldron. A dazzling flame immediately emerged from Xiong Lei's body. Behind Xiong Lei, a gigantic flaming golden tortoise appeared. The golden tortoise stood on its feet and bravely used its hands to block the attack. This action immediately formed a terrifying aura. It was as if he had easily resolved the might of the thousands of mountains on Li Zongjiu's body, but in fact, Xiong Lei had overestimated his own strength and underestimated the power of the desolate heaven essence. When the pair of tortoise palms landed on the aura formed by the desolate heaven essence, they began to be crushed. Pang! Xiong Lei's body was sent flying by the force. Puff! Xiong Lei spat out a mouthful of blood, and then his body was sent flying backwards. Pang! His body fell from the sky and smashed into the barren mountain. Oh my god, only one move. Hong Shi-san was extremely shocked when he saw this scene. He could not believe his eyes. This scene was simply too exciting. The weapon in Li Zongjiu's hand was simply a divine weapon. A casual wave of the weapon was enough to cripple Xiong Lei. You're courting death. Immediately, the law enforcers behind him rushed forward. The 5 of them took the lead and rushed towards Li Zongjiu. When the 5 of them moved, Hong Shi-san did not hesitate. He held the seemingly old crutch in his hand and enveloped the 5 of them with his aura. You people, I already said that I don't need your help. Hong Shi-san said faintly, blocking the people in front of him. Form the annihilation array. One of them said. The 4 people behind him immediately surrounded Hong Shi-san. They took out their swords and pointed them at Hong Shi-san. It's still the same old trick. Hong Shi-san was no stranger to the annihilation array. He did not expect that after so many years, these people had not made any progress. You and I don't need to fight. Nangong Wuji looked at Bai Jinghen and said. Don't force me to hit you. Bai Jinghen looked arrogant and proud, which was exactly what Nangong Wuji hated the most. If he was still at the peak of his cultivation, he would not have waited for these people to act arrogantly in front of him. If he did not speak, he would have slapped each of them if they dared to speak. If it was 10 years ago, Nangong Wuji would be more arrogant than Li Zongjiu. Offend the mystic Yuan sect for this brat? Nangong Wuji, do you think that the Imperial Extreme Hall, which you rely on, will help you? You think I need the Imperial Palace to fight you? You think too highly of yourself. I advise you to get lost quickly, that little brat will really kill you. Chapter 720. Nangong Wuji tried to persuade him. Dou Ling, who was standing at the side, was also about to make a move. However, she was forcefully held back by Nangong Wuji. If they were to rush out and something were to happen to them, how would he explain himself? One should know that these 2 people were also disciples of his heavenly star medicine manor. After all, Nangong Wuji was an elder of the Heavenly Star Medicine Manor. Other than staring at Bai Jinghen, he was also paying attention to Li Zongjiu's situation. Xiong Lei landed on the mountain peak. Li Zongjiu followed closely behind, not giving Xiong Lei a chance to catch his breath. The desolate heaven essence slammed heavily on Xiong Lei's body. At this moment, Xiong Lei was surrounded by the power of the blazing golden armored tortoise. He was able to block Li Zongjiu's attack. Wang! However, Xiong Lei did not fare well either. After this attack, he spat out a mouthful of blood, which was mixed with fragments of his internal organs. Damn it! Xiong Lei felt as if his bones were about to shatter. His eyes were filled with fear. Immediately, he hurriedly got up and wanted to escape. However, just as he got up and ran a short distance, he found that Li Zongjiu was already blocking his way. Run! It's too late. Li Zongjiu's lips curled into a sneer. Xiong Lei, who still had a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, clutched his chest to prevent his injuries from worsening. However, he was still trying his best to fight his way out. He immediately stomped his foot and charged towards Li Zongjiu. Boom! Sky-soaring cannon. After running, Xiong Lei suddenly soared into the sky. The blazing golden armored tortoise behind him seemed to have retracted its power, leaving only a tortoise shell behind as it charged forward. Li Zongjiu smiled disdainfully. He had let this guy live for too long. Blood soul hell. The power of hell spread out. Immediately, Xiong Lei's figure was enveloped by it. Xiong Lei instantly entered an extremely peculiar space. Within this space, Xiong Lei's qi and blood power seemed to be ignited rapidly. Boom! Xiong Lei was completely unable to break free from the shackles. When he realized that he was in such a realm, Xiong Lei was terrified. This is the power of a realm. Who are you? Before Xiong Lei could finish his words, his throat was pierced by a flying dagger. Xiong Lei's gaze also stopped there, only leaving an extremely small gap at the throat. After the vast flying knife made a circle, it returned to Li Zongjiu's hand. I'll use your blood to nourish my mountain. As his voice fell, a few more streams of essence force directly chopped off Xiong Lei's 4 limbs. PFFF. Lei's bodies, Xiong's toes, to stop, Xiong Lei's, to, Hiz's, his blood flowed, his, SSS to. Let's to. The energy contained in the fresh blood of a primitive emperor was rather terrifying. This was originally a barren mountain. However, after being struck by lightning and nourished by the blood of a primitive emperor, this barren mountain had already possessed extraordinary attributes. Xiong Lei. Bai Jinghen couldn't help but cry out when he saw Xiong Lei's miserable state. Xiong Lei would have died in vain if Bai Jinghen hadn't intervened. When Nangong Wuji saw Bai Jinghen's miserable state, he couldn't help but feel a little shocked. Li Zongjiu was really ruthless. Bai Jinghen was most likely dead. Such an attitude was in line with Nangong Wuji's temper. This kid is really ruthless. Dou Ling immediately turned her head when she saw this scene. Oh my god, there's blood. Dou Ling was almost scared out of her wits. She became very nervous and quickly closed her eyes. If she saw the blood, who knew what would happen? Get out of my way. Bai Jinghen wanted to rush out, but he was blocked by Nangong Wuji's open palm. He couldn't get close to Xiong Lei for a long time. He could only watch as Xiong Lei gradually lost his vitality. How dare you! Bai Jinghen roared angrily. A giant white-furred ape suddenly emerged. Bai Jinghen's strength was also condensed to the extreme. When he saw Nangong Wuji standing in front of him, Bai Jinghen raised his fists and hammered downwards. Boom! However, Nangong Wuji didn't panic when he saw the terrifying power approaching him. As his hands moved, a wave of surging yuan power immediately formed a layer of reincarnation graphite in front of him, easily blocking this wave of energy. Boom! 4 ounces deflected 1,000 caddies. That terrifying force was completely diverted to the side by this profound chi. Nangong Wuji, this is your choice. Don't blame me for being impolite. Bai Jinghen was thoroughly enraged when Nangong Wuji made his move. Impolite? Then why don't you do it? A contemptuous voice sounded from the side. Both Nangong Wuji and Bai Jinghen were taken aback. Where did this kid come from? Even Nangong Wuji was shocked. He hadn't stared at Li Zongjiu for a second and had already arrived beside him. Li Zongjiu didn't hesitate to throw out the desolate heaven essence as soon as he appeared. Boom! The desolate heaven essence moved and came crashing down like 1,000 mountains. At that moment, Bai Jinghen finally realized how terrifying and despairing the situation Xiong Lei had faced was. Damn it! Even Bai Jinghen couldn't help but curse out loud. Then, Bai Jinghen also felt a great pressure and was directly overwhelmed by this power. Bang! Bai Jinghen's body was sent flying. However, the great ape origin spirit reached out and caught Bai Jinghen. The great ape origin spirit moved a considerable distance back and stared fiercely at Li Zongjiu. After putting Bai Jinghen aside, the great ape origin spirit pounded its chest and stomped its feet as it charged at Li Zongjiu. From the looks of it, he seemed to be eager to tear Li Zongjiu apart. Let me. Nangong Wuji was also prepared to show his skills. He immediately blocked the great ape origin spirit's path with a flash of his body. Li Zongjiu glanced at Hung Shi-san, who was fighting with the 5 white-clothed law enforcers in the sky. If you can't kill these 5 people within 100 breaths, you will leave White Deer Manor. Li Zongjiu said indifferently. Hung Shi-san was unhappy when he heard this. This kid was clearly provoking him. Did he really think that he could look down on old masters like them just because he had some skills? It seemed like he couldn't continue to hide from Hung Shi-san. Otherwise, Li Zongjiu would really think that he was old and weak. Whirlwind staff technique, straight to the root of the problem. Hung Shi-san growled. Immediately, the stick in his hand became fierce and violent in an instant. Rumble. Immediately, the gale seemed to carry sharp blades. The law enforcers, who were discussing how to take Hung Shi-san down, were immediately shrouded by the gale and turned into a pile of minced meat floating in the air. Was this the legendary whirlwind staff technique? He had killed 5 peak Yuan monarch experts in an instant. In the eyes of others, this magnificent feat was simply an extremely shocking operation. However, Li Zongjiu only nodded reluctantly. It was still somewhat useful. Chapter 721. Damn it! Bai Jinghen could not help but curse when he saw that the 5 of them had been killed by Hung Shi-san. Could it be that the name of the mystic Yuan sect was no longer useful? How dare these people kill the people of the mystic Yuan sect so wantonly? Hung Shi-san, the mystic Yuan sect will not let you off. Bai Jinghen shouted angrily. However, he immediately turned around and fled. Unfortunately, it was too late. Li Zongjiu had appeared above Bai Jinghen's head without anyone noticing. Bai Jinghen was immediately enraged when he saw Li Zongjiu appear. Do you really think that I can't beat you? Bai Jinghen took out a gourd called the Golden Sword Gourd. It was a magic weapon that could transform into a flying sword. Bai Jinghen blew at the gourd. Suddenly, the gourd in his hand turned into a shining sword of light and flew directly towards Li Zongjiu. Although they were only 100 meters apart, the flying sword flashed with a cold light. Huh! Li Zongjiu felt the power of the flying sword and immediately used the hidden dragon skill. However, the flying sword's speed suddenly increased, making it difficult for him to escape. Then, Li Zongjiu released the power of the bloody soul hell. He wanted to forcibly trap the flying sword. However, the power of the flying sword instantly shattered Li Zongjiu's bloody soul hell. Boom! The hell, which was not very sturdy to begin with, was instantly shattered. However, the flying sword was also crushed by the power of the hell. When the bloody soul hell was shattered, Li Zongjiu was obviously severely injured. When he saw the scene in front of him, he suddenly realized that the power of hell that he had painstakingly built had been destroyed by this idiot. This was a provocation to Li Zongjiu. Bai Jinghen was extremely shocked to see that Li Zongjiu was still alive. The gourd flying sword was a life-saving item that he had spent a lot of money to buy in the black market. Even an expert of the same level as him, a second-grade primitive emperor, would have an 80% chance of being killed instantly. It was that powerful. However, when he saw Li Zongjiu standing in front of him, unscathed, Bai Jinghen could not believe it. Bai Jinghen naturally would not use the gourd flying sword unless he had no other choice. He had never imagined that Li Zongjiu would be able to block it. You! What kind of monster are you? Bai Jinghen pointed at Li Zongjiu as he spoke. As for Li Zongjiu, he put away the desolate heaven essence in his hand. His eyes were burning with anger. You really deserve to die. The bright and resplendent golden light on his fist was also releasing energy. When it appeared in his hand, Li Zongjiu could feel the power of the golden dragon origin spirit. The golden dragon origin spirit slowly rose behind Li Zongjiu. A supreme majesty was released from the golden dragon's body. Wang! In an instant, even the birds and beasts that were tens of thousands of miles away could feel the deterrence from the sovereign dragon tribe. Just a breath was enough to make them tremble in fear. Finally, Li Zongjiu released the golden dragon origin spirit in front of everyone for the first time. That kid, Nangong Wuji's face reflected the golden light as he looked at the golden dragon origin spirit. The shock he felt was indescribable. What a terrifying aura, it's actually the dragon clan's origin spirit. Hong Shisan said in a daze. No wonder Li Zongjiu exuded such a powerful aura. Hong Shisan was completely shocked when he learned that Li Zongjiu's strength was so terrifying. The golden dragon origin spirit not only represented Li Zongjiu's powerful strength, but also represented Li Zongjiu's brilliant future. After today, Li Zongjiu's fame would spread all over the world. The golden dragon origin spirit. How domineering. This was the path that was destined to lead to a brilliant future. Bai Jinghen stared blankly at the golden dragon while his white ape origin spirit retreated. Although the white ape origin spirit was terrified and its instincts told it to flee, it still stayed by Bai Jinghen's side to protect him. It stared at Li Zongjiu. Die! As his voice faded, Li Zongjiu's body abruptly fell downwards along with the golden dragon. His fist contained an unparalleled majesty. Bai Jinghen was confident that he could block this punch. Although Li Zongjiu's origin spirit was of good quality, it was not on the same level in terms of strength. Therefore, there was still hope. However, when Bai Jinghen saw Li Zongjiu's eyes, his body stiffened. His body involuntarily stiffened on the spot. Even the white ape did not resist as it stood there in a daze. The evil soul eye. Li Zongjiu usually hid his talent power very well and rarely displayed it. However, this time, he did not hesitate to release it and completely fixed Bai Jinghen's body. Buzz! Bai Jinghen's body stiffened for a second. From an outsider's point of view, Bai Jinghen seemed to have been scared out of his wits. In fact, Bai Jinghen could feel everything that was happening in front of him. When the power fell and bombarded his body, Bai Jinghen felt pain. He felt as if he was being torn apart. No! Bai Jinghen's cry came from the bottom of his heart. He had no chance to do anything. Li Zongjiu's fist hit Bai Wuhan's head. The overbearing power instantly poured into Bai Wuhan's body and tore it apart. Boom! Bai Wuhan's body exploded into pieces. Blood and flesh splattered everywhere. Such a heroic scene, in the eyes of anyone, was like a bloody firework. When the fist landed, it meant that all the people from the mystic Yuan sect had died at the hands of Li Zongjiu and the others. Li Zongjiu and the others did not need to bear any responsibility, as the place where they died was where Li Zongjiu belonged. On the mountain peak, Xiong Lei, who was soaked in blood, also closed his eyes. The people of White Deer Manor were fighting the Mystic Yuan sect. The sudden outbreak of the bloody battle had caught everyone by surprise. Even the rule that primitive emperors were not allowed to fight was broken. However, no one said anything about it. Ha ha! This feels so good. Hong Shusan laughed heartily. For him, today was the best day of his life in the past few years. It could even be said that it was a hearty day. Chapter 722. In the past, although Hong Shusan had the cultivation of an origin king, he had not dared to confront the Mystic Yuan sect head-on. Killing a few Yuan monarchs was not a big deal to the Mystic Yuan sect. However, the people he had killed today were extremely important figures in the Mystic Yuan sect. Just the fall of these two primitive emperors was enough to make Hong Shusan overjoyed. Killing the 5 law enforcers also made him feel better. Even before Li Zongjiu had made his move, Hong Shusan might not have dared to kill them. After all, he had not made sufficient preparations. Otherwise, these people could have gathered a terrifying force and killed him at any time. Hong Shusan still wanted to take revenge, so he could not die like this. However, Li Zongjiu's words had encouraged him at that moment. If he did not dare to take action when his enemies were right in front of him, there was no need to talk about killing Gong Wuyang in the future. Perhaps he would even be too scared to move when he saw his enemies. Finally, he was able to take his revenge. This is just some interest. One day, I, Hong Shusan, will wipe out the entire Mystic Yuan sect. Hong Shusan made up his mind. For many years, the Mystic Yuan sect had been hiding in Monarch City. Therefore, they had not specifically come to deal with Hong Shusan. After all, it was good that Hong Shusan was hiding here. As long as he did not continue to harass the Mystic Yuan sect, it did not matter if he remained in exile. Unexpectedly, Hong Shusan's temperament changed drastically after he found Li Zongjiu. He had not killed his enemies for many years. Now, he had finally settled the matter. Hong Shusan thought to himself. Ha ha! Boy, you are really brave. You even dared to kill the people of the Mystic Yuan sect. Nangong Wuji admired Li Zongjiu's way of doing things. After all, he had been like this in the past. After being poisoned, he had become rather low-key. At the same time, he had also comprehended a lot of things during this process. The more he comprehended, the more he believed that his actions were right. If there was a grudge, he had to take revenge. If he kept waiting, when would there be an end? If Li Zongjiu's place becomes a place where others can come and go as they please, how can I establish myself in the future? Li Zongjiu said indifferently. Although killing these people would cause a lot of trouble, if he didn't kill them, they would come to kill him. Therefore, he had to strike first to gain the upper hand. However, given the strength that you have displayed today, there will definitely be many people who will want to protect you. You don't have to worry, even if the Xian Yuan sect comes, they won't dare to do anything. Nangong Wuji said slowly. At the same time, he was also curiously sizing up Li Zongjiu. You really managed to refine a 6th-grade medicinal pill? Li Zongjiu didn't waste any time. He stretched out his hand and the 10,000 yuan longevity elixir appeared in his hand. When Nangong Wuji and the others saw the elixir, their eyes lit up. This was a 6th-grade medicinal pill. Such a young 6th-grade alchemist. For any faction, it was extremely precious. Congratulations, Li Shao. Nangong Wuji and the others didn't finish their words. Someone rushed out impatiently and flew toward Li Zongjiu and the others. I didn't expect to see you again on the day of your breakthrough. I'm late to congratulate you. Please accept this Millennium Phoenix grass as a congratulatory gift. Feng Tengfei appeared in front of Li Zongjiu with a smile. When Li Zongjiu and the others saw Feng Tengfei, they weren't surprised at all. Take it. Let's go down. Li Zongjiu and the others flew out and returned to the White Deer Manor. Feng Tengfei also handed over the Millennium Phoenix grass. Yinghu stepped forward and took the box. Even among the grade 6 medicinal herbs, the Millennium Phoenix grass was considered a top-notch existence. This showed that the 100 Medicine Pavilion was quite generous. They weren't stingy at all. The 100 Medicine Pavilion is really generous. It's a 6th grade medicinal pill. Nangong Wuji said jokingly. One had to know that in order to find these medicinal herbs, it could be said that he had gone through untold hardships to piece together these medicinal herbs. Now, the 100 Medicine Pavilion gave him a 6th grade medicinal herb. How could Nangong Wuji feel good about it? If Master Nangong is interested, you can come to our 100 Medicine Pavilion at any time. Feng Tengfei didn't dare to leave Nangong Wuji behind. One must know that Nangong Wuji's identity wasn't simple. Although he had been silent for a long time and now he suddenly emerged, his former majesty was still there. It would be great if he could draw Nangong Wuji to his side. This is the place where Master Li lives. We're from the Myriad Spirits Immortal Shop. We're here to congratulate Master Li on his breakthrough. We'll give you a bottle of Changbai Mountain's Millennium Clear Spring. 3 white-bearded old men appeared at the door. Li Zongjiu motioned for Yinghu to open the door. Today, his White Deer Manor naturally couldn't be peaceful. Steward Feng, you're so fast. You're here so early, the 3 of you are so diligent. It's rare to see you here, but today, the 3 of you are here at the same time. It's really rare. The people from the Myriad Spirits Immortal Shop also arrived. 2 of the 3 herbal medicine merchants of the Shengyan dynasty had arrived. Wu Qingfeng of the 10 Directions Medicine Hall is here to congratulate Master Li. He brings a pair of ancient Chow Chow teeth and an inch of white cloud camphor wood. Someone from the 10 Directions Medicine Hall also came. It was Wu Qingfeng, the Vice Hall Master of the 10 Directions Medicine Hall. He controlled the herbal medicine business of at least 10 first-class cities. When such a person went out, he would be protected by experts. But now, Wu Qingfeng came alone. The rest of the people looked at him with new eyes. Wu Qingfeng was really good at giving out favors. The 3 herbal medicine giants had already gathered at Li Zongjiu's White Deer Manor. Lu Wenshan, who was hiding in the stable, saw this scene and his eyes were full of envy. Although the gap between a 6th grade alchemist and a 5th grade alchemist was only a small step, it was a big step. It was definitely not an ordinary thing to take this step forward. One step could reach the sky. If he, Lu Wenshan, could have such an opportunity, he would have no regrets in his life. Tian Fei, who was beside him, was trembling. When he saw the sect's law enforcement guards come, he was so scared that he didn't dare to show up. After all, Tian Fei knew the methods of these law enforcement guards. But he didn't expect that these ferocious law enforcement guards would be killed by Li Zongjiu and the others. Tian Fei was truly shocked by the leeway in which the situation could be reversed. It could even be said that it was too fast. It was completely unimaginable. Li Zongjiu and the others were actually so strong. There were many people outside who came to congratulate them and also brought a lot of gifts. Li Zongjiu accepted all of them and didn't leave out a single one. Why would he be embarrassed to accept these gifts that were sent to his doorstep? As for if he wanted to find Li Zongjiu for help in the future, he would have to pay. Anyway, this thing was given by you. I didn't ask you for it. Only the weak would care about the exchange of favors. A strong person like Li Zongjiu wouldn't care about these things. When the time came, if he didn't like you and didn't want to help you, then he would just not help you. What could you do? Only when you become a real strong person, then others would ask you for help. Otherwise, no matter how many favors you gave them, if they didn't want to talk to you, then they wouldn't want to talk to you. The gifts have been delivered. You can leave first. If there's anything in the future, we'll talk about it later. Li Zongjiu said directly to the people in front of him. The arrival of these people made Li Zongjiu's white deer manor seem a little crowded. Master Li, you have just broken through and still need to consolidate. We won't disturb you and will take our leave first. If Master Li needs anything in the future, feel free to look for me, Wu Qingfeng, at 10 Direction Medicine Hall. The rest of the people were still in a daze, but Wu Qingfeng was the first to speak. He cupped his fists at Li Zongjiu and left immediately. Need anything? This was quite a big request. Just 10 minutes ago, Li Zongjiu, Nangong Wuji, and the others had directly killed 2 Yuan emperors and 5 peak Yuan monarchs from the mystic Yuan sect. Before this, if they investigated a little, Li Zongjiu would be responsible for the death of the mystic Yuan sect's young sect master. Chapter 723. Although Wu Qingfeng came alone, anyone could see that the sincerity of Ten Fang Medicine Hall was the greatest. As for the rest of the people, they naturally said their goodbyes and left one after another. It was enough for them to leave a good impression in front of Li Zongjiu. If there were any problems in the future, they would be able to take care of it. At least now, Li Zongjiu did not refuse them to come in. Master Li, then we will leave first. See you at the Dark Horse Pill competition. Feng Tengfei was smiling in his heart. When he was in the 10,000 T villa, he accidentally made such a connection with Li Zongjiu. Since Li Zongjiu represented their 100 Medicine Hall, it could be said that the 100 Medicine Hall was now assured of victory. If that Grandmaster Lan died, then so be it. Look, even now, no one came to avenge him. What was there to say about such a thing? Fortunately, he had promised Li Zongjiu before, and his relationship with Li Zongjiu was not too stiff. Feng Tengfei felt quite lucky about this. As the saying goes, the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. Now was a better opportunity to directly draw Li Zongjiu to the 100 Medicine Hall. Compared to others, their 100 Medicine Hall's chances were naturally higher. The rest of the people could only envy at this time. Moreover, what these people wanted to know was that they would also be facing Li Zongjiu in this Dark Horse Alchemy meeting. This was undoubtedly a very challenging thing, such a young level 6 alchemist. It wasn't easy for them to find a 6th grade alchemist to help them. And this big opportunity was picked up by their 100 Medicine Hall. Today, Feng Tengfei had definitely made a great contribution. Obviously, Li Zongjiu did not mean to invite these people to sit down and chat, so soon, these people left. These people are really amazing. In such a short time, they have made so many treasures. You've made a killing this time. Nangong Wuji also looked at Li Zongjiu enviously. However, he had experienced such a day before. Back then, when he broke through to the 6th grade Origin Emperor realm, it was incomparably glorious. The number of people who came to congratulate him was no less than 100. The scene was much more spectacular than this. After he was poisoned, not many people were willing to lend him a helping hand. Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Su Hong requests an audience. Su Hong said from outside the manor. Elder Su Hong actually came personally. Li Zongjiu took the initiative to open the door and welcomed Su Hong in. Li Zongjiu was also very optimistic about Su Hong's words. After all, this person was a good person and treated Li Zongjiu sincerely. In addition, he also strongly supported Li Zongjiu. Within the scope of his duties, Li Zongjiu could naturally see that. The Heavenly Pill Pavilion is here too. Nangong Wuji and Hong Shi-san looked at each other. Obviously, Li Zongjiu's action this time was also very big. It even attracted the attention of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Only Su Hong came, which also showed that the people of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion were relatively arrogant. Similar to the Jianghu forces, the people who came were also second in command. Although Su Hong was a Director General Elder, he was not the main management after all. He was only responsible for these matters. His position was similar to that of the principal elder of the Xianyuan sect, Xiao Yuan. Take a seat. There are not many stools. At this moment, Tian Fei was very sensible. He went into the house and brought out some tables and chairs, and placed them in the courtyard for these big shots to sit down. From this point, it could be seen that Li Zongjiu's attitude towards these people was very different. Among the people who came, the ones who could bring more benefits to Li Zongjiu were naturally the representatives of the three big herb merchants. Even Wu Qingfeng came in person. It should be known that Wu Qingfeng was the second in command of the Vice Hall Master level. With just a word, he could multiply Li Zongjiu's value. However, even such a person could not sit in Li Zongjiu's house. On the contrary, after Su Hong came, he received such treatment, which was unbelievable. It should be known that with Su Hong's identity and age, he would gradually decline to the second in command in 5 or 6 years. He would not even be able to worry about the affairs of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. I'll get straight to the point. The Heavenly Pill Pavilion wants to invite you to join us. After Su Hong sat down, the first thing he said was straightforward. Su Hong's style of negotiation was really simple and clear. He went straight to the point. Hong Shisan and Nangong Wuji were also quite surprised. Just now, a large group of people did not directly state this point. They were all very secretive about it. What benefits can you give me? Li Zongjiu also directly said. He was not reserved at all. The two people at the side were dumbfounded. The Heavenly Pill Pavilion will help you suppress the matter of the Xianyuan sect. In addition, if you are willing, you can first come to the Heavenly Pill Pavilion and become a Technique Imparting Elder. Technique Imparting Elder. This position required at least a grade 5 alchemist with dozens of years of experience. If this position was given, it would be equivalent to becoming a signboard of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. However, this Technique Imparting Elder would have to give lectures regularly. However, after becoming a Technique Imparting Elder, he would be able to enjoy the corresponding benefits of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Moreover, Li Zongjiu had a grudge against the Xianyuan sect. So far, the lives of 3 primitive emperors and the young sect master were in the hands of Li Zongjiu. Since it was so serious, they would at least fight to the death. However, the Heavenly Pill Pavilion was still willing to protect Li Zongjiu. There were bound to be many more things involved in this. They never thought that the Heavenly Pill Pavilion would be so generous. In the eyes of Nangong Wuji and the others, the Heavenly Pill Pavilion was already very good as an institution directly under the dynasty. There is no need to become a Technique Imparting Elder. I don't have that much time. Li Zongjiu said. Joining the Heavenly Pill Pavilion was also something that Li Zongjiu had planned for a long time. There was naturally no harm in having a good relationship with the Shengyan dynasty. Even after 3,000 years, the Shengyan dynasty was still at its peak. It could be seen that the only outcome of going against the Shengyan dynasty was to be destroyed. For example, the Qingyuan villa was destined to not be far from death. Speaking of the Qingyuan villa, it had to be mentioned that if Li Zongjiu was slightly free, he would definitely destroy the Qingyuan villa. There was also the poison sect of the southern region. Li Zongjiu would not let any of them go. For many lone wolves, joining some forces seemed to tie their legs and restrict their freedom. However, in fact, this was an extremely stupid idea. As long as you were strong enough, joining a force and obtaining some benefits, what harm would there be? Naturally, there was no harm. Even if these people wanted you to do something you didn't want to do, you had enough strength to refuse. What else could they do to you? If you stayed in such a place, you would become a puppet of these people and lose your value from then on. If you are not willing to become a Technique Imparting Elder, there is a position suitable for you. This is the Honorary Elder token of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Seeing this token is equivalent to seeing the Pavilion Master. The rights and benefits you enjoy are equivalent to that of a Deputy Pavilion Master. However, to obtain this honorary elder token, there is still a small process. Su Hong said. Chapter 724. Honorary Elder of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. The meaning of this honorary elder was quite sufficient. Taking it out represented the entire Heavenly Pill Pavilion. This kind of reputation was an extraordinary thing. Nangong Wuji and Hung Shisan's eyes were wide open. What kind of glory was this? What kind of authority was this? Just because Li Zongjiu was a young 6th-grade alchemist, he could obtain such a noble status. Wasn't this a little too hasty? Hey, this token is the same as my grandfather's. Seeing the token in Su Hong's hand, Dou Ling was surprised. Oh. Su Hong looked at Dou Ling in surprise. Is it true, girl? Your grandfather is so awesome. Nangong Wuji said in surprise. Even in front of this little girl, his choice of words was rather vulgar, which showed his true nature. It's okay. Anyway, he has a lot of tokens and likes to hang them on the wall. Dou Ling said. Su Hong looked at Dou Ling carefully. Throughout history, the Heavenly Pill Pavilion had issued no more than 5 honorary elder tokens. Until now, there were only 2 honorary elders that could be contacted. One of them was the alchemy master in the Imperial Palace, and the other was the mansion master of the Heavenly Star Medicine Manor. Su Hong didn't know where the remaining token owners were and whether they were dead or not, because he didn't know much about it. Perhaps only the pavilion master of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion knew. What's the process? Li Zongjiu asked. Since there was such a good thing, he could enjoy so many benefits just by putting his name on it. For Li Zongjiu, of course, this was the best. He didn't have to waste too much time doing these things. In addition, the privileges he enjoyed were not small. It was exactly what Li Zongjiu wanted. You need to pay a certain amount of contribution, even if it's herbs, elixir recipes, and so on. I'll give this token to you first. Su Hong said straightforwardly. Anyway, this was before they came. It was also the deputy pavilion master himself who said that no matter the price, he had to make Li Zongjiu stay. Therefore, Su Hong was already prepared. This honorary elder position was not too excessive for Li Zongjiu. Based on his performance today, it was only natural for him to be given such a position. Who else in the imperial city could have Li Zongjiu's strength and performance? Contribution. I haven't gotten any benefits yet, but you want to take something from me first. Li Zongjiu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. There was actually such a situation where he was at a disadvantage. It's just a formality. You should at least show some appreciation. Otherwise, I won't be able to report back. Su Hong also sighed. In fact, it could be said that it was dispensable. However, the rules were here, and Su Hong was a very law-abiding person. This matter would certainly not be easy to get away with. Do you still have the thing I gave you last time? Li Zongjiu asked Dou Ling, who was beside him. Whenever there was a fight, Dou Ling, would be very excited. Now, he actually asked her about it. What? What is it? Dou Ling, was stunned. Then, she remembered the thing Li Zongjiu gave her before. Ah, you mean this. Dou Ling, took out a primordial stone from her arms. What is this? Su Hong looked at the small primordial stone and didn't know what was engraved in it. This thing is enough for you to report back. Li Zongjiu said lightly. Su Hong was also skeptical. What could be in this small primordial stone that was enough for him to report back? In fact, Su Hong meant that he could take out 5 or 6 grade 6 primordial stones to report back. However, he was given such a small primordial stone. He didn't know what was inside. When Su Hong took the primordial stone and used his mental strength to scan it, the shock on his face could no longer be hidden. Could this be? The expression on Su Hong's face was very interesting. In his life, this old face rarely showed such a high emotional fluctuation. What Li Zongjiu gave Su Hong was the second part of the universe 9 revolving needles. Until now, the second part of the universe 9 revolving needles had not been circulated. Some time ago, because of the universe 9 revolving needles, many people even died. Even Lu Wenshan, because of the universe 9 revolving needles, was imprisoned until now. Until now, no one from the Spirit Valley sect came to save him. Even now, Lu Wenshan was wondering whether the people from the Spirit Valley sect thought that he was dead or that the Spirit Valley sect had perished. The Heaven and Earth 9 revolving needles was worth countless elixir recipes, countless spiritual grasses and spiritual medicines, and countless experts. Because of the appearance of this set of needles, it was very likely that the prestige of the Heavenly Elixir Pavilion would increase. Even more people would come to work for it because of its reputation. This was something that Su Hong had never expected. Li Zongjiu would actually hand over such an important item to him. This made Su Hong excited. I'll hand it over now. I'll hand it over now. There's no time to waste. Keep the token well and come back to the Heavenly Pill Pavilion to make a note of it. Or I'll send you the document and you can take a look at the rules and regulations. Su Hong said. Then, he ignored Li Zongjiu and the others behind him and quickly ran away. With such a precious item in his hands, Su Hong even felt a little uneasy. Fortunately, Su Hong was an elder of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Otherwise, he wouldn't be safe even in the Sacred Flame Royal City. The few of them were extremely shocked as they watched the anxious Su Hong rush out of the door. They even felt extremely puzzled. What exactly was that thing that actually caused Su Hong to be so flustered? Could it be some kind of treasure? What treasure did you give him? How could it frighten someone to this extent? A set of needles. Li Zongjiu said. Needles? Nangong Wuji frowned. Universe 9 revolving needles. Brat, you're really willing to part with it. Nangong Wuji immediately came to his senses. Previously, he helped Li Zongjiu send the array to the Blackwater Forest. Naturally, he knew about this item. However, he didn't expect that Li Zongjiu would be so generous as to give this set of needles to the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. In that case, the Heavenly Pill Pavilion would be able to instantly expand their influence after obtaining this set of needles. It was all thanks to this set of Universe 9 revolving needles. What Universe 9 revolving needles? What's that? Hong Shi-san was not a member of the alchemist community, nor was he a member of the alchemist community. He could not understand what the two of them were talking about. What kind of needle could actually be used to exchange for the token of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion's honorary elder? Wasn't it too profitable? Just thinking about it made him feel incredulous. However, the most important thing was that Li Zongjiu didn't seem to care about it at all. By the way, someone came to look for you. Chapter 725. Who is it? Li Zongjiu asked as he threw the identity token into the Southern Kingdom ring. The congratulatory gifts sent by those people were all stored in the Southern Kingdom ring. Given the storage space of the Southern Kingdom ring, this was not a problem. I don't know the identity of this person, but her strength is very terrifying. She said that she has come to find you and expressed her sincerity. Now, you should go find her. Otherwise, she will come to you to settle accounts. Nangong Wuji imitated the tone of King of Fire as he spoke. Nangong Wuji didn't know that there was such a powerful expert in the city. This was a provocation to Nangong Wuji, and it might even be a sign of extreme danger. Either this expert came to the Holy Flame Royal City later on, or she had made a breakthrough in her cultivation realm and reached such a level in the past 10 years. Settle accounts with me? Ha, come on then. Li Zongjiu said disdainfully. These days, he had so many enemies that he couldn't even count them. Who knew who was who? Li Zongjiu didn't have the time to go to each and every one of them and ask them if they were looking for him. Oh, this girl is wearing red. Judging from her appearance, she is a femme fatale. Don't tell me you have a romantic debt outside, Nangong Wuji said. Nangong Wuji said. At the same time, he looked at Li Zongjiu with a gaze that all men understood. If it were not for the fact that Nangong Wuji had helped him, Li Zongjiu would have slapped him. What did you just say? She is wearing red. Li Zongjiu had grasped the main point. The atmosphere of the scene suddenly became serious. Yes, she is as red as blood. Do you remember now? Is she crazy? Who would wear red clothes in broad daylight? She's simply retarded. Li Zongjiu said directly. I'm going to cultivate in seclusion to refine the elixir. The matter of the Xianyuan sect is not over yet. You guys should be careful when you go out these 2 days. Also, Heng Shi-san, right? I'll leave the task of guarding the house to you. Remember, don't beg in front of my door and ruin my image. These words were also an acknowledgement and acceptance of Heng Shi-san. In any case, he was a lackey of the primitive emperor. It wasn't a bad idea to take him in. At least, he wouldn't have to personally deal with some ordinary small fries. Hee, don't worry. After witnessing Li Zongjiu's strength and means, Heng Shi-san had learned the rules. Nobody had the ability to kill primitive emperors at will. Li Zongjiu had that ability. Following Li Zongjiu and killing these bastards from Xianyuan's sect was a worthwhile thing for Heng Shi-san. And you, is your ability to build houses good or not? I haven't even seen a strand of your hair yet. Li Zongjiu ridiculed Nangong Wuji before going into seclusion. Nangong Wuji was furious on the spot. This was a challenge to his professional ability. Wait for me. In 1 month, I guarantee that you'll live more comfortably than the one in the imperial city. Of course, the reason why Nangong Wuji worked so hard to complete this task was because Li Zongjiu indeed had the ability to refine pills that could help him recover his strength quickly. After all, he was close to becoming a grade 6 alchemist. Previously, when Nangong Wuji's cultivation was still at its peak, he had to behave himself in front of this level 6 alchemist and did not dare to act rashly. Such a person was a peerless expert who could command hundreds of people. Although the person standing in front of him was young, he had unlimited potential. He had to serve Li Zongjiu well. Whether or not he could achieve more in the future would depend on Li Zongjiu's level. Since there's nothing else, I'll continue to play. Dou Ling rode on the Howling Moon Wolf King and left White Deer Manor. Because Li Zongjiu's reputation was growing, no one dared to act rashly in front of anything under Li Zongjiu's name. In the stable, the tightly bound 9th Prince Xian Ming woke up from his coma. However, his vision was still blurry. Suddenly, he saw a black shadow approaching him quickly. Bang! With a muffled sound, the 9th Prince lost consciousness once again. Lu Wenshan could not help but weigh the stick in his hand. TSK. This feeling is really great. In the 7-star flame room, Xiao Zhao delivered Li Zongjiu's information to Song Jieyu. This included how Li Zongjiu had ostentatiously killed 2 Yuan emperors and 5 peak Yuan monarchs of the mystic Yuan sect. He had refined a level 6 alchemy pill and attracted a pill lightning. The 3 big herbalists had personally come to congratulate him. Finally, he had become an honorary elder of the Sky Elixir Pavilion. Each of these things was an incomparably glorious and miraculous thing. It was directly destined that the person's future achievements would be limitless. However, these 4 events had all happened to the same person, and they had all happened within the span of a single day. It was simply impossible for anyone to react. When Song Jieyu saw the information in her hands, she even suspected that the information was wrong. How could there be such a monstrous person? This person is really monstrous. Unparalleled. Song Jieyu's eyes were filled with shock. There was nothing else. Even with her mental fortitude, she was still immersed in shock for a full hour. Originally, Song Jieyu thought that having such achievements at her age was already enough to show disdain for the heroes. No elite could compare with Song Jieyu. Therefore, Song Jieyu's heart had always been incomparably arrogant. When she made the agreement with Li Zongjiu, it was also in the name of cooperation. Now, Li Zongjiu had truly grown to the point where even the Song family could not contend with him. He could kill primitive emperor experts as he wished, and he had even killed 2 of them. It was true that the Song family had primitive emperor experts, but there was only 1 of them. It was not even enough for Li Zongjiu to kill. Now, in White Deer Manor alone, there were 2 great primitive emperors overseeing it. One of them was the infamous Nangong Wuji in the city. When Nangong Wuji had dominated the Sacred Flame Royal City, Song Jieyu was just a child. Now, she had become Li Zongjiu's subordinate in a flash. The Qi family. When the major families knew about Li Zongjiu's situation, their reactions were naturally different. Some families had bad relations with Li Zongjiu, while some families had some dealings with Li Zongjiu. However, for the Qi family, it was naturally a great thing. When Qi Yanran heard the news, she immediately went to Qi Shaohun to verify it. Although Li Zongjiu was a person in the alchemy circle, after all, he had contact with them before. When they learned that Li Zongjiu had broken through to the 6th grade alchemist realm, the elders below were simply going crazy. Is that true? Our Qi family has helped Li Zongjiu twice. It should be enough for Li Zongjiu to refine an elixir for us. That's right. Without our Qi family's help, how could Li Zongjiu have broken through to the 6th grade alchemist realm? It must be the supreme grade primordial stone fragment that we gave him last time that allowed him to break through. Within the Qi family, several elders immediately slammed the table and stood up. One after another, they began to make guesses. At the same time, they began to think about what they should ask Li Zongjiu to do and what kind of medicinal pill he should refine for them. The few of you are really shameless. Last time when we gave out the primordial stone fragment, the 3 of you opposed it the most. Immediately, some elders began to quarrel with each other. Old 9, don't slander us. I am just stating facts. Don't fan the flames here. How am I fanning the flames? Don't tell me that the more than 20 people sitting here are all fanning the flames and adding oil to the fire. Qi Shaohun calmly looked at the group of people below who were quarreling and did not care. It was very normal for there to be conservatives and radicals. There were conflicts within the family, so there was competition. Only with competition could there be progress. However, regarding Li Zongjiu's breakthrough, it was still a big matter to deal with. A 6th grade alchemist, and even now, an honorary elder of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion, a casual sentence from him was enough to raise the Qi family to the sky. Yanran, go back and prepare some things. You can send them to Li Zongjiu as a congratulatory gift. Send a congratulatory gift? Why do I have to go? Qi Yanran seemed to have realized something in this matter and immediately blushed. Chapter 726. White Deer Manor. Li Zongjiu was in the training room. He did not immediately refine the 10,000 yuan longevity elixir. Instead, he summoned his blood soul hell. In front of the power of the flying sword, it was directly minced into pieces. The power of hell that he had painstakingly refined was crushed just like that. He should have caught that kid and given him a good beating. Directly smashing his body into smithereens was letting him off too lightly. Although it's broken, the power is still there. I just need to refine it again. Li Zongjiu opened his hand and saw a cluster of pitch-black energy mixed with blood-red energy. It had formed a small black ball. This was the result of the concentrated hellish energy. It was just that the power could not be condensed and used. Let's put it aside for now. Although the blood soul hell was useful, it was still risky when facing some experts. That damned flying sword was actually so powerful. If it wasn't for the blood soul hell blocking it, then Li Zongjiu would have been seriously injured by that sword. I want to know the origin of that old man hiding in the Shura cauldron. With Li Zongjiu's experience in his previous life, he could roughly guess the old man's origin. But all of this still needed to be confirmed. The reason why Li Zongjiu wanted to break through to the absolute saint realm was not only because of the instinctive pursuit of power, but also because he wanted to see the world outside the Shenggu continent. Not many people would believe him if he said it out loud. Just the scope of the 13 states of the Shengyan dynasty was enough to cover the heavens and the earth. The vastness of the mountains and rivers was so vast that even an origin emperor expert would have to spend more than 10 years to traverse it. Even some dangerous places would not be easily approached. Because it was very normal for such a place to want to devour your life. Li Zongjiu immediately sank into his spiritual world. Under the power of the desolate heaven essence, the mysterious old man's last breath was taken away. When one's cultivation reached such a level, there was no distinction between good and evil. In order to survive, the old man would definitely devour Li Zongjiu one day. The reason why the old man was able to reveal his true form this time was probably due to the effect of the pill. That was why he appeared directly. It was also an instinctive reaction, and Li Zongjiu happened to catch it. With this, he directly crippled the latter. The old man's power suddenly appeared in Li Zongjiu's spiritual world. It had only been a short period of time, but the power that had been shattered began to condense on its own. It would not be long before the power condensed again. The mysterious old man would definitely be reborn from this power. He's really capable. If this power was allowed to spread freely, wouldn't he be able to maintain an immortal body? Ordinary people might not be able to understand, but Li Zongjiu could understand the mystery behind it. Li Zongjiu had seen such a method before. That was the power of the Phoenix clan. The so-called Nirvana rebirth was not a fiction. Those fellows had been able to revive for generations in a strange way. It was indeed a rather strange existence. However, that was the power of the Phoenix clan. How could it be possible for a human to do it? It's a pity that you met me. If it were anyone else, you might still have a chance to revive. Li Zongjiu could not give the old man a chance to revive. Immediately, obsidian fire appeared in his palm. With the appearance of the terrifying obsidian fire, the drifting power began to frantically escape. However, where could they escape to in Li Zongjiu's spiritual world? A domineering power instantly swept out. Boom! The power of obsidian fire spread out. It directly refined the black soul power one by one. It's really difficult. Li Zongjiu looked at the appearance of these things in surprise. It was actually difficult to refine these soul fragments. Immediately, Li Zongjiu continued to increase the power of refining. As Li Zongjiu's power increased, the soul fragments finally began to be refined gradually. At the same time, a memory, like an energy flow of information, flowed into Li Zongjiu's mind. These were all the old man's memories. Li Zongjiu digested these memories one by one. However, these memory fragments were rather trivial and there was not much information that could be obtained. However, every piece of information was very important to Li Zongjiu. It took him half a day to refine. At the same time, he also spent half a day to sort out the information. Finally, Li Zongjiu sorted out the information as if he was peeling silk from a cocoon. Prehistoric realm, sacred martial realm. This person is actually a saint realm expert. Li Zongjiu opened his eyes. When he read this information, his heart could not calm down for a long time. This expert whose soul had been shattered and whose origin was unknown turned out to be a genuine saint realm expert. However, this guy seemed to be on the run, so he was beaten to such a state. In the end, he hid in the Azura cauldron and remained silent until now. As for the old man's past, Li Zongjiu naturally did not care. If he had not been hunted down in these years, he would be embarrassed to say that he had wandered the underworld. Therefore, It was an extremely normal thing. However, what was interesting was that this old man opened the door to a new world for Li Zongjiu. First of all, Saint Realm experts really existed. The prehistoric realm that Li Zongjiu had visited before. However, this prehistoric realm was the prehistoric realm in the old man's memory. The eldritch territory was filled with ferocious beasts, which were quite terrifying. Those ferocious eldritch beasts were extremely dangerous for supremes like them. Therefore, it was impossible for them to pass through the eldritch territory. After passing through the prehistoric realm, it was a whole new world. This continent was called the Sacred Martial Realm. The Sacred Martial Realm was thousands of times bigger than the Holy Martial Continent. This showed how terrifying the Sacred Martial Realm was. No wonder the old man said that the Holy Martial Continent was just a small place. Compared to the Sacred Martial Realm, the Holy Martial Continent was just a small place. There really are Saint Realm experts, and I even accidentally killed one. This was something that even Li Zongjiu did not expect. However, this guy could be considered very powerful to be able to pass through the prehistoric realm and escape here. Even Li Zongjiu did not manage to do this. This further solidified Li Zongjiu's pursuit of the Saint Realm. The Supreme Being Realm was not the peak. There were stronger experts in the world. In this way, there would be an even greater challenge. Mountain-toppling Golden Seal. Li Zongjiu found a primordial skill in the old man's memory. This mountain-toppling golden seal was the move that the old man used to slap the blood dragon's soul to the ground. The move of a Saint Realm expert must be extraordinary. Although Li Zongjiu had dabbled in many martial arts, this was the first time he had seen such a powerful move. If the old man had used it in his peak state, how terrifying would it have been? It was unimaginable. Fortunately, Li Zongjiu did not waste any time and killed the old man directly. Otherwise, he might have been stabbed in the back. Fortunately, he decisively crippled this guy. Let's learn it first. In order to prevent these memories from degenerating, Li Zongjiu took out a primordial stone and engraved these memories into it. Mountain-toppling golden seal, Saint Realm primordial skill. Chapter 727. Most of the memories were in an extremely chaotic state. If Li Zongjiu wanted to sort through them with his current mind power, it would be very painful. Not only would it take a lot of time, but it might also be dangerous. There were too many mysteries of the Sage Realm powerhouse. Li Zongjiu would not be able to comprehend them all in a short time. Even in Li Zongjiu's mind, there were still some remnants of the Sage Realm powerhouse's energy. Only when he became stronger would he be able to refine them one by one. This longevity 10,000 yuan elixir should be able to help me reach the level of a 5th grade yuan monarch. Li Zongjiu had already reached the level of a 1st grade yuan monarch a few months ago. If he wanted to make a breakthrough in his cultivation base, it would be extremely slow. No matter where he cultivated, it would be extremely slow. It would be a lie to say that he could cultivate steadily and surely, as he did not have enough elixir pills to sustain the process of cultivation. When I have time, I should go back and take a look. I wonder how the situation at home is like. Unknowingly, he had been away for almost a year. After leaving home in the summer, it was already spring. A year's time was very short for people with high cultivation bases. If Li Zongjiu wanted to, a few years would pass in the blink of an eye. Those who did not know would think that Li Zongjiu had already died in there. He opened his mouth and swallowed the 10,000 yuan elixir. The Xingyan dynasty had never been peaceful. Every once in a while, there would be some trouble and some troublemakers. Now, in the south of Dingquan province, an extremely terrifying and sinister gang had appeared. When these people attacked, they basically left no survivors. Once they were caught, they would use some extremely cruel means to use these people as food for the insects they raised. This gang was called the Southern Region Poison Sect. The appearance of the poison sect in the southern region was like a swarm of locusts passing through. It rapidly caused great destruction in several places. It also caused a huge uproar in the territory of the Saint Flame Empire. This was a provocation to the peace of the Saint Flame Empire. However, the armies of the nearby cities were simply unable to pose a threat to the southern region poison sect. Although they were slightly on guard now, the intentions of these people were very obvious. The provincial government of Dinghuan province had already sent people to investigate this matter, but these people often never returned. Within the borders of Dinghuan province, it formed a large-scale panic. At this moment of crisis, a group of righteous people had suddenly emerged from Qingyuan Manor, which belonged to King Qingyuan. Wherever they passed, they immediately led the local people and formed a huge team to exterminate the poison sect in the southern region. The process was incomparably exciting. Currently, the Qing Yuan Villa and the southern border poison sect seem to have formed a confrontation within the Dinghuan province. However, the Dinghuan province's prefecture master found a trace of abnormality in this. This was because the Qingyuan Manor and the southern region poison sect seemed to have formed a method of cooperation. Under such circumstances, they had actually gradually visited all the major cities in Dinghuan province. Now, half of the cities had the Qingyuan Manor's flag. The slogan of these people was to exterminate the southern region poison sect, which was a pest gang. If anyone dared to question and refused to join, they would be regarded as an accomplice of the southern region poison sect. At this point, the Dinghuan province's prefecture master was unable to distinguish between them. What exactly was the situation? After sensing that something was wrong, the Dinghuan province's prefecture master hurriedly spurred his horse and prepared to personally report this matter to the dynasty. After all, it was related to the Qingyuan Manor. Naturally, ordinary people did not dare to make a fuss. Even if he was the Dinghuan province's prefecture master, he did not dare to meddle in this matter. However, if he did not do anything, then who knew what kind of situation would develop next? However, if the prefecture master wanted to leave, it would not be a simple matter. It had just rained and the road was somewhat muddy. The wheels of the carriage ran over the puddles and immediately splashed up mud. Only the Dinghuan province's prefecture master knew. For this trip, he only brought a few of his most loyal guards with him. Even at the fastest speed, it would take close to 2 days to reach the Sacred Flame Royal City. On the way, they would pass by several dangerous places. However, no one dared to kill the prefecture master halfway. If that happened, the Shengyan dynasty would definitely not let them off. Given the Saint Flame Empire's means, it was easy for them to bring out such a deterrent force. My lord, the one who appealed this time is King Qingyuan. Have you thought about this matter clearly? Fang Youji sat in the carriage with the housekeeper Su Fu beside him. This old housekeeper had followed him for more than 20 years, so Fang Youji trusted Su Fu very much. King Qingyuan's status is honorable, but this disaster is not something we can stop. We have to report it to the imperial court. Moreover, the imperial court will only know the seriousness of this matter if I go there personally. Fang Youji said in a deep voice. Dinghuan province was one of the 13 provinces. Although the terrain was vast, it was not very rich in resources and did not give birth to many experts. Relatively speaking, it was easier to control. Therefore, regardless of whether it was the poison sect of the southern region or the Qingyuan Manor, they all chose Dinghuan province as the starting point to carry out such wanton plundering. My lord, you have to think twice. We are out of Dinghuan province in front. Su Fu opened the window and took a look. If they went there, they would have to take a boat. Once they got on the boat, they would leave the boundary of Dinghuan province. However, this was when they really stepped on the road of appeal. Su Fu, you have followed me for more than 20 years. How can I watch these people fight for power and affect the people of Dinghuan province? No matter what, I can't drag the common people into this. Over the past few days, the number of civilian casualties in Dinghuan province had already exceeded several tens of thousands. My lord, I naturally understand your intentions. However, I am sorry this time. I can't let you cross the river. Su Fu suddenly said. Fang Youji was also taken aback. What kind of nonsense was Su Fu spouting? Just as Fang Youji was shocked, the sound of a horse reining in came from the front. In the end, it was the sound of weapons clashing. Clang clang clang. My lord, let's go. A blood-curdling scream came from outside the carriage, but soon after, the sound of a blade falling could be heard. Chapter 728. Fang Youji was in the carriage. At this moment, he had already realized what had happened. Unfortunately, Fang Youji himself was not good at fighting. When he saw Su Fu, he clenched his fists. His eyes were filled with grief and indignation. Su Fu, I've treated you well. Fang Youji roared with all his might. For many years, he had always believed in Su Fu's sincerity, but who would have thought that at this most critical moment, the first person to stand out and betray him would actually be Su Fu? Magistrate, if you had listened to my advice and not appealed, things wouldn't have turned out this way. I've done my best. Su Fu said in a low voice. Then, Su Fu lifted the curtains of the carriage and said, Please, my lord. Fang Youji knew that he would not be able to escape death. He did not expect that even the government of Dingkuan province had been infiltrated by these people. If he still could not see through these people's intentions, then Fang Youji would be too stupid. However, when he thought about how his family might be implicated, Fang Youji's heart was filled with hatred. If he had known this would happen, he would have helped his family settle down. However, he expected that these people wouldn't dare to go too far. If the family of a province of the Shengyan dynasty were killed, the imperial court would definitely send people to investigate. If these people wanted to achieve something, they wouldn't have gone so far. When Fang Youji walked out, he saw the 3 corpses on the ground. Even among the 6 guards, 3 of them had betrayed him. The 3 of them put away their blood-stained sabers. In the face of absolute benefits, even people who lived with each other day and night could point their weapons at each other. If they didn't make a move, the other party would be the first to strike. The most important thing was to strike first and gain the upper hand. What do you want now? You betrayed the imperial court. You won't have a good ending. Even in the face of death, Fang Youji proudly puffed out his chest, unafraid of death. Don't worry, my lord. After today, you will still be our lord. Su Fu said with a smile. At this moment, several figures appeared in the surrounding dense forest. Whoosh! 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 A dozen blood-robed guards landed on the ground and surrounded the people in front of them. That sharp murderous intent was incomparably clear. When this power appeared, Fang Youji felt his scalp go numb, as if the other party's knife was constantly scraping his scalp. Hiss! Magistrate Fang, long time no see. A rough voice came from the dense forest. Black Tiger Banner's banner commander. Zhao Hanjiang. Fang Youji recognized the person in front of him. The Black Tiger Banner's banner chief. Now, Qingyuan Villa had sent countless experts. Moreover, the countless experts weren't disorderly. Instead, they were divided into 8 banners. Under each flag, there was a banner master who led them. At the very beginning, the Black Tiger Banner's banner master Zhao Hanjiang had already come to look for Fang Youji. He actually wanted to borrow Fang Youji's military authority. Naturally, he was dismissed by Fang Youji. Currently, the manpower of the 8 great banners was gradually expanding within Dingkuan province. At that moment, they wanted to cleanse the 8 banners of their crimes. Once they were cleansed and turned into a regular army, the deterrence they would form would be even more terrifying. As long as Magistrate Fang is willing, we will send you back to your residence today and pretend that nothing happened today. What do you think? Zhao Hanjiang said in a low voice. He looked at Fang Youji in front of him. Although there would be a lot of trouble if they killed the magistrate of a province, they had already cleaned up Dingkuan province. All they needed to do was put in a little more effort. If Fang Youji was willing to cooperate, things would be even simpler and more convenient. There's no need to say anything more. You people and the masters behind you will not have a good ending. Fang Youji said indifferently. A real man was born as a man. There were some things he could do, but there were also some things he absolutely couldn't do. Fang Youji was still very clear on this point. Even if he had to die, he had to preserve his reputation. You really like being an honest and upright official. Zhao Hanjiang couldn't help but say. He looked at Fang Youji in front of him and waved his hand helplessly. The surrounding blood-robed guards also drew their swords and walked over to Fang Youji. Kill him. One of the blood-robed guards suddenly sped up and rushed in front of Fang Youji. He brandished the blood-rimmed blade in his hand. However, the light from the blade didn't seem to pierce Fang Youji's neck. Instead, it split his own neck in half. Whoosh! The blood-robed guard's head immediately fell to the ground. What? When Zhao Hanjiang saw this scene, he was shocked. Such a strange scene had to be caused by an expert in the dark. Boom! Someone seemed to be flying over from a great distance. Boom! A figure landed on the ground. It was a handsome young man with a hint of arrogance in his eyes. He held the sword in his hand as he turned around to look at Fang Youji and the blood-robed guards around him. You must be from Qingyuan Manor. Tian Fei straightened his body as he looked at the person in front of him. Who are you? Has Qingyuan Manor offended you in any way? When Zhao Hanjiang saw the person who had come, he realized that he didn't recognize Tian Fei. However, Tian Fei shook his head and didn't say anything. Whoosh! Tian Fei unsheathed the sword in his hand. Everyone felt a sharp aura sweep past their necks. The moment this aura appeared, they all felt a sharp aura sweep past their necks. The blood-robed guards instinctively wanted to fight to the death with Tian Fei. However, they immediately realized that they couldn't move at all. Their heads had been neatly cut off. It was an extremely shocking sight. Pillars of blood spurted out from the necks of the blood-robed guards around them. They all flew up into the sky. Damn it! When Zhao Hanjiang saw this, he immediately realized that the person who had come was very strong. He wasn't someone he could withstand. He immediately flew back. If he escaped into the dense forest, he might have a chance. Su Fu and the three guards also quickly flew in all directions. They hadn't expected Fang Youji to have invited such a powerful expert. Fang Youji was also very shocked. He didn't understand who this young man who had suddenly appeared before him was. One sword becomes 3 qi. Tian Fei used a yuan skill, and the sword in his hand suddenly split into 5 swords. With a whoosh, the swords chased after the 5 people who had fled. Bang! 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 The 5 people who had fled were immediately pierced by the swords. Their bodies fell straight to the ground. Zhao Hanjiang was still lying on the ground, but he wasn't completely dead. He wanted to crawl forward, but he saw the young man squat in front of him and look at him coldly. Then, the young man took Zhao Hanjiang's storage ring. Don't worry. Your whole family will be here to accompany you. Li Zongjiu said indifferently. Zhao Hanjiang's eyes widened when he heard this. This young man wanted him to die with everlasting regret. Young master. Tian Fei greeted Li Zongjiu, who had just walked out of the dense forest. Fang Youji, on the other hand, was somewhat unable to react. This young man who had suddenly appeared in front of him had actually killed all these people so easily. This was something that he absolutely did not dare to believe. That was the Black Tiger Banner Chief, one of the 8 banners of Qingyuan Villa. You. Who are you? Fang Youji asked. You must be the magistrate of Dingkuan province. You're a man. Get on the carriage. Li Zongjiu waved his hand and asked Fang Youji to get on the carriage. Fang Youji didn't understand the situation, but these people didn't seem to be in the same group as those people. Get on the carriage, Tian Fei said. Then, he sat on the coachman's seat. His self-awareness was quite high. What Fang Youji wanted most now was to go back and settle down his family. At the same time, he needed to find out the identity of these people in front of him. Go! Tian Fei drove the carriage back the way they came. Chapter 729. You're Li Zongjiu. When Fang Youji heard Li Zongjiu's name, he immediately exclaimed. Obviously, Li Zongjiu's reputation was very resounding. Even the dignified Kun state capital knew of Li Zongjiu's name. My name is already so resounding now. Li Zongjiu was slightly surprised. It's not easy for such a young and promising person to appear in Dinghuan province. Of course, we have to take good care of him. After you graduate from Heavenly Star Medicine Manor, you can consider working in my province. It can be considered as giving back to your hometown. Fang Youji quickly said. He wanted to establish a good relationship with Li Zongjiu first. There were many talents in Dinghuan province. However, there were very few people who were as famous as Li Zongjiu. This was because the things that Li Zongjiu did in Royal City had already caused many reputable forces to send people to his residence to retrieve the files. I can consider it. Li Zongjiu nodded and said. But it doesn't seem like you have the final say now. Li Zongjiu looked at Fang Youji and said. After refining the longevity myriad yuan elixir, Li Zongjiu prepared to go home. Firstly, Li Zongjiu was now an honorary elder of the Heavenly Pill Pavilion. Even if the Heavenly Pill Pavilion could deal with the Xianyuan sect, it would only be within the boundaries of Sacred Flame Royal City. If the people from the Xianyuan sect were to launch a sneak attack on Luoxia City, it would be very risky. That in itself was extremely risky. If they were to come, Luoxia City would definitely not be able to stop them with its current strength. Therefore, Li Zongjiu prepared to return to Luoxia City to see the situation first. Who knew that so many things would happen in Dinghuan province? In the direction of the ferry, Li Zongjiu met with these people from Qingyuan Villa face to face, and then killed them all without leaving a single armor behind. Therefore, even if Fang Youji boarded the ship, he would be killed by these people when he got off the ship. In order to deal with Fang Youji, Qingyuan Manor had made a very thorough deployment. Since there were people that Qingyuan Manor wanted to get rid of, Li Zongjiu naturally had to rescue them. Along the way, Fang Youji recounted everything that had happened in Dinghuan province. After Li Zongjiu learned about it, he nodded. You are indeed a little arrogant. However, since I've encountered this matter, there's no need for you to appeal. Where are the 8 banner masters? Take me there directly. Said. Li Zongjiu said, just now, you've killed a black tiger banner master. As for the remaining 7 banner masters, they should be in the Middle Reaches Mountains recently because the people from the Southern Borders Poison sect have appeared in the Middle Reaches Mountains recently. They seem to be preparing to wipe out the Southern Borders Poison sect in the Middle Reaches Mountains recently. Therefore, they are wantonly plundering the military power and replacing it with someone else. Since they dared to touch Fang Youji's head, it meant that most of the people below were just mere figureheads. In fact, most of the people who appeared below had already been replaced. They were so resourceful that they wanted to cover the sky with one hand. This kind of strength really surprised Fang Youji. Then let's go to the middle mountain area. Tian Fei, head southeast. Yes, young master. He brought Tian Fei with him on this trip. Nangong Wuji wanted to design a house and build a mansion. Hong Shisan's duty was to guard the house. Yinghu wanted to watch Lu Wenshan and supervise him to refine elixirs. Dou Ling was free. She was immersed in gambling almost every day. As an elder of the Heavenly Star Medicine Mansion, Nangong Wuji actually went to the casino to gamble like Do Ling, when he was free. They were simply a pair of weirdos. Fortunately, the skills of these two people were worse than the other. Although they liked to gamble, they never won more than a few times. Naturally, Tai-Fi came to report this. He really admired these people. They didn't cultivate all day long and only knew how to do these things. Therefore, he only asked Tian Fei to serve him on this trip. Tian Fei naturally felt very honored. To be able to follow the young master was something he couldn't wish for more. Unlike Gong Changhe, Tian Fei felt that Li Zongjiu was truly capable. Therefore, he also felt admiration and respect from the bottom of his heart. Moreover, Li Zongjiu's style of killing people he didn't like was really enviable. It was really carefree. We're going to the middle mountain area now. Aren't we going to prepare? Fang Youji was obviously a little surprised. Just the three of them were going to kill their way there. Fang Youji was just an ordinary person. Although he was physically strong, when it came to fighting, he probably couldn't even defeat an ordinary farmer. He was a civil official who followed the civil service. What could he do if he went there? At this moment, the Middle Mountain area could be said to be the gathering force of the Qing Yuan Manor and the poison sect of the southern region. If they rashly rushed there, it was an action of courting death. What's there to prepare? If we hurry, we can still go back and have dinner. Li Zongjiu looked at the sky. Immediately, the carriage sped along the road. It rushed madly. The Middle Mountain area was about 300 miles away from the Dinghuan province city. The enemies had already gathered in such a place. Only then did he decide to make a trip to the Sacred Flame Imperial City. Even if he went there, by the time he returned, the situation would have already changed. At this moment, the Middle Mountain area. The reason why it was called the Middle Mountain area. It was because there was a long river that ran through the Dinghuan province. It was called the Qian-Ding River, and the middle reaches of the river were located here. That was why it was called the Middle Mountain area. The Eight Banners army had already surrounded the Middle Mountain area. Currently, most of the third-grade and second-grade cities in the Dinghuan province were deterred by the Eight Banners army's power. The closest city to the Middle Mountain area was the giant Jade Wave city. It was a second-grade city. When the Eight Banners army locked onto the Middle Mountain area, they felt like an army pressing down on the border. They wanted to take down the giant Jade Wave city first. They seemed to want to use the name of upholding justice to force the giant Jade Wave city to let them pass. However, the giant Jade Wave city was one of the giants among the second-grade cities. Its strength was even close to that of a first-grade city. Naturally, it wouldn't compromise so easily. How could it not see the wild ambition of these people? The one who controlled the giant Jade Wave city now was the Zheng family. Currently, the Zheng family and the city governor's mansion of the giant Jade Wave city were working together to resist the Eight Banners army. In fact, the giant Jade Wave city was also under great pressure. In the city governor's mansion of the giant Jade Wave city, there were a total of 5 great clans in the city. 3 of them were led by the Zheng clan and followed their leader blindly. Even the city governor had to carefully consider the Zheng family's opinion. The head of the Zheng family, Zheng Yonghui. The city governor of the giant Jade Wave city, Pang Shan. In addition, the clan leaders of the other 4 great clans were gathered here. They were discussing the matter of the Eight Banners army, which was constantly pressuring them from outside the city. Currently, the voices in the city are extremely loud. The banner commander of the White Tiger banner of the Eight Banners army has given us a deadline. We have 2 days to open the city gate to welcome them and provide them with sufficient supplies. Otherwise, we will be regarded as the accomplices of the poison sect in the southern region. Pang Shan said. This kind of situation should not have happened at all. Are these people crazy? Zheng Yonghui clapped his hands. Everyone was shocked. This is a blatant seizure of power. Zheng Yonghui's eyes were like a pair of angry lions. The other great clans didn't dare to look Zheng Yonghui in the eyes. They immediately understood the difference between Zheng Yonghui and the other great clans. The Zheng family had worked hard for many generations for the sake of the giant Jade Wave City. It could be said that without the Zheng family, the giant Jade Wave City wouldn't exist today. The reason why Pang Shan was able to sit on the city governor's seat was because of the Zheng family's support. Otherwise, there would have been more chaos. If we allow these bandits to enter the city, the stability of our city will be destroyed. The giant Jade Wave City will change hands and become a puppet of the Qing Yuan Villa. Although some people could see this point clearly, they had no other choice. The bandits were coming with great momentum. In addition, the threat of the poison sect in the southern region did exist. The bandits used this as an excuse to wipe out more than half of the cities in Dingquan province. Obviously, there was a huge conspiracy behind this. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.